This Meditainment production is brought to you today by the Samurai Aquatics and Decor Metaventure. Scan that QR code or click that link in the description and dive yourself headfirst into the Samurai Aquatics Discord server to pleasure your peepers on our current and future range of outdoor decor.
The Whine and Cheese Show is a Metaverse and NFT discussion and interview series brought to you by Metaverse Ventures Entertainment and host BEN68 and Morecheese. Warning: the information and opinions within are solely the views of the individuals involved and contains content not suitable for anyone.
G'day and thanks for listening to or watching the Whine and Cheese in the Metaverses Show. I'm BEN68 here with my co-host Morecheese for episode 90, recording on Friday the 23rd of June for Cheese, which is Saturday the 24th for me.
Today we talked some Upland-ish and then had a very deep dive into the neXt project with Satoshi, Lieutenant Dan, Sean, and Esero, and it was quite the amazing show.
Yep, we know you sickos love the smell of wine and cheese in the morning, so bang, bang, you're dead, and just in time to get yourself another arsenal of edumacation in the latest shitty episode of...
The worst show ever.
Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Cheese.
One is a wanker, one's slinging stunts. One's from Australia, one's from the Bronx. Talking about the Metaverse and NFTs. Interviewing all the real crypto G's. Come ahead, get your pinky up. Talk wine and cheese, motherfucker.
Wow.
Hello. Welcome to Whine and Cheese of the Metaverses Show. I'm here with my co-host with the most, BEN68. This is episode 90, and we have the neXt here, who are co-hosts with us today. We're going to do our usual Upland spiel, get into their project, and then give our most biased opinions on our awesome articles that we don't read beforehand because we want to be surprised, but the title looks great. Did I sum it up, Ben?
Pretty much, yes. Pretty much.
Nice. So welcome at the neXt. Are you I hear you're a big fan of the Whine and Cheese Show, huh?
Been subscribed for a long time now.
Thank you.
I was just saying before we kicked off, Satoshi and I go back way back to October 2020, and Satoshi, you might not have been in the first UDU podcast meeting, but you were definitely in the second or third. So
yeah, no,
cigar.
She'll never let that go.
No,
but
great.
I was saying prior to the podcast, like it was very monumental what you did as far as nodes go. Like a node wasn't even a thing, and I don't really think many people know that, but Ben did it first.
Yeah, he did.
There's a lot of history there. I'm sure we'll dive into it as we get kicked off as well. So absolutely. And Esero, we've kicked around for a while. I don't know. Do you remember, Cheese? Esero is the one who picked up the mint number 10s of the first
I know.
Samurai Aquatics and Decor series.
I do the bookkeeping, so I have to know that.
Oh, there you go.
Absolutely. Good to be here. No, Morecheese and I think have many more interactions, Ben, but absolutely. I mean, it's been great. Thanks for having us on.
No worries. And Sean and Dan, we had them on the UD podcast briefly, well, this week, wasn't it? So yeah, interesting to dive in some more. But before we do that, we're going to have a look at some Upland news. Now, I said to Cheese there was bugger all happening, but I did spend a little bit of time doing a bit of clicking around, and we did have the Sao Paulo expansion just went live. Was it like a couple of hours ago? Was that right? I saw a few tweets.
I thought it was yesterday.
It was yesterday.
Yeah. That's how interested I was in it. I know I saw Shaq and Dak and a few other people had minted a bunch of properties around Interlagos, the racetrack there, so that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I didn't know about that.
So Dak kind of outlined that whole thing on the UDU podcast. So yes, the Sao Paulo expansion. So I jumped on over to UPX Land and had a bit of a look. So what's this actually done? So it has, of course, put a bunch of unminted properties on the market, which was the whole point of it, to get more there for new people. I just thought I'd have a look at how we at with unminted stats. So LA is by far the most unminted. Look at that, 152,490 unminted.
It's huge.
Oh, mama.
It's huge. But
That's crazy.
It's also, I mean, I don't know, it's good that they have some unminted for people coming in. Like down the road, people are gonna like wish they still had some unminted in LA.
Yes. Well, I'm selling the bejesus out of LA at the moment. I think I've still got 100 to sell. So,
Jeez.
heaps in Nashville, Detroit. I'm selling Detroit as well. Kansas, Queens, Sao Paulo. Ah, here we go. So, total unminted, total properties just under 60,000, and now we've got just under 17,000 unminted. So, plenty of room for new people to move in there for sure.
It's actually a
And then-
really great place for new players as well. There's so much activity in the Brazilian community, and they're doing so many great things. Like if you look at the area, they have a few nodes there and they're pretty solid.
Yes, Monero being the big one, I believe.
Yeah.
Um,
The only place I really wanted to mint yesterday was Ipiranga, Avenida Ipiranga, which I think will be a rare street. I had the help of Human Sim on that one though. Did you guys do any Sao Paulo yesterday at all?
Yeah, I
I
actually
didn't.
got 2 over there. I'm totally with you. I think that will be a rare collection. Yeah, I minted till my liquidity ran out.
Nice. I have mine on, actually, like I never do this, so I'm actually doing it on sale for 2 times what I minted it for. So I mean, it's a win-win
Risky.
situation.
risky,
I don't-
risky.
No, I think it's good.
Yeah.
I actually heard of somebody getting a 5x on their mint, so
Nice.
I listed mine too.
I don't
Cash
do
it.
that, but like Ben, like he said before, you have to choose which places you want to stay and which places you don't. So if I could double my thing and put it in a place where I want to stay, then that's pretty good.
Yes, I'm doing the opposite. I'm steering clear of the releases and waiting for the back end collection reveals, and then seeing if there's any high value collections left unminted, and then I'll go over and have a bit of a gobble up.
Oh,
But that can be risky too because you can miss out totally. So
yeah. Essay, what were you gonna say about
Oh,
yesterday's?
yeah, no, I'm with Ben too. I do the same thing.
But that's expensive. Like you're gonna wait until it's revealed and then buy it even more expensive.
yeah, but Satoshi knows the deal. We've been talking about dividends since we first got kicked off talking.
Yeah.
It's all
Yeah.
about those divs, at least for the moment. Yeah. Yeah, I need to get back over 2 mil. I got screwed when they dropped the dividend. So I don't know if you saw
Yeah.
that. I just reached the 2 million per month dividends, and then it was like literally a week later they dropped the dividend rate, and I was God damn it.
It's funny because at that time I just surpassed mil UPX per month, and then they dropped on me back under a mil, but I'm at 1.4 right now,
Nice.
implying possibly a 20% decrease. So
Yep.
I'll stay above a mil.
Sweet.
Nice.
Very
I
good.
feel so inadequate. Well, I mean, I did have let's see.
You just gotta divorce your properties. You're too married. You're married to
No,
all these
you're
freaking
right.
properties.
You're right. But I did get my UPX per month up to 426,983. Yeah,
It's better than a poke in the eye with a burnt stick.
it sure is.
I don't know, pardon that used to say better than a hot poker in the eye. I love that.
I think that might be the Australian version that I just said. Yes, we kind of tend to bastardize things. All right. So what else is happening? Berlin into the grey. Did anybody get involved in this? Or going to? I believe it's coming to early tomorrow my time. I believe.
If they had free airfare, I'd do it, but it's just too
Yeah.
expensive.
I'm with you on that one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2,000. Where's the but? There's a part here that I laughed at.
Uh-oh.
Ah, yes, this bit. Read that one, Cheese.
Once you complete the tour, you will earn 0.01 Spark, which will be useful when you want to build a structure on your property or stake Spark for another project. Didn't I ask that
Exclamation point.
question? Didn't I ask that question in Genesis?
Yes.
When are we going to be allowed to Spark on other people's factories?
What they mean there is just another property, but yeah.
Oh, 0.01.
Yes.
I mean, for
Get
new
that
players.
0.01. Woo!
For new players who are already in there, I think it's a good thing.
Well, I got my first 0.03 yesterday with my daily login, so.
And also, if you want some how many cents do they give? 15 cents. Yeah, if you want to sign up for it and just not do it, 15 cents is really cheap at 3,000 UPX.
Yeah, that whole bank your cents thing kind of got thrown in the bin with you can now buy them. So
Yeah. Well, I know a lot of people who buy them nonstop, like a lot.
I'll probably buy a few before the Tokyo release, just in case, I would imagine. So
Yeah.
who knows?
Guess we're all excited for that one.
Yes, when you just blew out your budget, didn't you say? So I'm forcing myself to save.
I do it every city release.
Yeah,
It's hard. It's hard not to, especially when you're in a good position and whatnot.
yes. All right, what else is happening? We have just announced the
More
latest
cars.
MV Motors sale. More cars.
More cars.
More cars.
I'm
Anybody
gonna say
getting excited?
something. I'm gonna say something controversial. You ready?
Always.
More shitty cars.
Yeah.
Who the fuck wants this? I mean, Series 1, just a Series 1?
Well, you got to realize too, there's people that have registered for every single car sale and still haven't been able to buy one, which sounds incredible, but
Yeah,
there's
that's
some people
weird
that
because
reckon
people
that's still the case.
are selling Series 1s for under that.
Yes, that was going to be my point too. I ain't going to buy a Series 1 for 280,000 because if I really wanted to, I could probably buy one for like $90.
I'd say the only thing out of this whole thing that's cool is the Series 4R.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, if you want to have a car just to have a car, then
Yeah.
definitely go for one of these. But for me, I'd rather waste my money on the 2022 models before racing starts. But that's just me. I know there's people who only want the 2023 models and they're getting rid of their 2022s. I don't understand that, but kids are off.
It can be an alternative way to, to get some USD out, rather than battling the floors.
Yes, you're right. Actually, you're definitely right. If you get a Series 1 for 280 and then sell it for like $185, that's definitely a great way. If you have the dividends for it. Yeah.
How about you fellas? Still gobbling up cars?
Yeah, I mean, I sold off all my Series 1s throughout the last couple months. I have I have a few Series 2s. I got like 5 cars total, but it's not a great time to get them off for US dollars, so I'm kind of just holding them.
Yeah, I was buying cars for a while, but and then I ended up focusing on semis. So
semis are good. Semis are good. Very good, useful pickup trucks. That they're very cheap, actually. That's something that would be good. Cargo vans, even passenger vans. If you're patient and want to wait until later on.
Yes. How soon is soon is the question. How many semi trucks did you get, Esero?
I've lost count, but I think
Jesus, how's that for a flex?
Wow.
Don't even know. Lost count.
Yeah. Essay's feeling like a pimp. Oh, took his shoulder off. Wow.
Yeah, I think I was 15 or 20, somewhere around there.
Wow.
That's incredible.
You're in a fleet.
Yeah.
Got a fleet.
You're in a really good position.
Absolutely. Yes,
Oh.
especially once utility finally drops for those. Especially, shops like us with our outdoor decor that we got to move everywhere. It's definitely going to be in high demand services like that because I've just got absolutely jack of moving decor. Satoshi, you'd be the same, I'd imagine.
Oh my God, yeah. If God forbid you have to move like 50 to 100 units, like that's a whole day, at least.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun.
Can't complain though.
Exactly. That's what I tell Ben. It's a good problem to have.
Yes. All right.
I have my Genesis go-kart from Superfest that was airdropped.
Nice.
During the event. So that's my one vehicle, but we got our eyes on some exciting vehicles in the future, that's for sure.
That's cool.
Yeah, well, I
That's
suppose
cool.
your project, we'll get into that, I would imagine. But if you're talking combat and combat vehicles, there's a whole range of things you could get into there. Huh.
There
Combat
is. There is.
go-karts.
All right, I'm jumping the gun. We got a few more things to touch on. Spark Week. Is this the first release of Gaia? Was that the
Yeah,
Miles's friend?
yeah.
Is this Gaia? Doesn't look like
No,
Miles.
that's not Gaia.
It doesn't look like Miles, is it?
I mean, it's AI art. None of them look like Miles, really. I'm not saying not that there's anything wrong with that. Like
Good
the
on ya.
Seinfeld.
Good on you, Jerry.
Yeah. Thanks, Costanza.
Yes. All right, June Spark sale coming up. Yeah. I'd like to round off to 30. I think I've got 0.7 I need to get, but I got bills. Daddy's got bills to pay too. So
I have just over 100 now. I'm selling in drips and drabs, but I really want to save up for that one Spark.
man, their graphics suck.
Yeah, they do.
I had to scroll back to see where that was.
Yeah.
30. Yeah, so it seems pretty similar. Quantity 50 of the ones. So yeah, seems similar, if not the same as last month.
I'll say one thing. I'm glad they're not spending, any precious, money on graphics. Like I get the picture with this. It's more than enough for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's definitely AI generated because unless they're trying to hint at Korea, because that looks more Korean language in the background than anything. Interesting. All right. And we do, of course, have the treasure hunting. I might actually, maybe I'll try and get a few treasure hunting. Where we got cities: Cleveland, Detroit, Queensboro, San Francisco,
Ooh.
Santa Clara, Las Vegas, Oakland, Fresno. Maybe I'll travel over to Oakland or
Actually,
Santa Clara.
yeah, Santa Clara and Fresno. I hear good things about that. I shouldn't say that out loud. I might try
Yes.
Fresno.
Well, we've both got projects in Santa Clara still that we need to
Yeah.
get done. Yeah. I don't know. You guys, you gobbling up Spark? I know. Is it Esero? Is it you that's just got like an absolute shit ton?
It is.
Yeah.
Yes,
Well,
it is.
right now I'm at 64, 65.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've been accumulating, but I stopped buying it just because I was waiting for STEM to drop, and I was going to switch gears, but yeah, I'm kind of thinking that we're going to need more
Yeah.
Spark.
Yeah.
You can never have enough. Yep, never enough. How about you, Satoshi? Are you happy with your amount?
Am I
'Cause
happy? No, as you mentioned, no. I'll never.
Yeah.
There'll never be enough.
Yeah.
I'm approaching 13. I mean, it's good for my medium factory, but we're gonna need more in the future. I don't think. I think the golden number is like 25 minimum.
How much do you
Yeah.
have?
13.
You said you're
Just under 13.
Oh, like 12.99?
12.79.
12.7. All right, cool. I got more than you. I have 12.96.
Oh wow. I don't know about you, but me and Ben, weren't you airdropped like 7 Spark when they came out?
I got 2 point something in the very first early testers, and then I got another full one because there was one of those way back in the day, those minting competitions or something that I won. So that was 1 Spark, and then I got whatever it was, 7 on top of that. So I think I got near 10 for free as part of all of the stuff we did way back in the day.
That's pretty much how my situation went too. I think I got like airdropped. I got a ridiculous amount the first time. I don't know if it's 6 or 7, something crazy.
Yeah.
And then I think I only acquired like 4 or 5 myself, max.
I got airdrop 3.35, and that's because me and NubX did not sleep when they were doing those 0.01 treasures. And you were able to get one like every 7 tries. It was so easy, and they had the fountain. So I was like, when am I gonna have this chance again? So I just did as many as I could. And NubX, a beast. He was like sleeping even less than me. Even
those guys are crazy. Nubex, Brabant, Bocchio. I think they've all over 50 or something now, and that's just mostly from grinding treasures.
Yeah.
And I saw Nubex dumped 19 Spark on the X Metaphor.
Nice.
Yeah.
That was cool of him.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, those guys they're next level. All right, what else have I got? Oh, I got one more thing to touch on, and then we'll get kicked off here. Not Spark Week, we did that. We're just checking on the neighborhood scores now. I mentioned Mineiro before in Brazil. That's the one we're battling with now. Midtown Terrace is 13.282, and Mineiro is 13.288 for third position. It's just interesting how many more residents we've onboarded in the last week. I believe it's in the order of an extra 30 residents or something. And yeah, it did boost the score a bit, but not by a whole lot. So
wow, you guys have jumped up.
Yeah.
You guys have jumped up in the rankings.
Well, we're offering a Samurai Surfer, which is a very rare map asset, going for 200K right now.
I heard about that.
Free. Yeah, all you have to do is come on and put your residence there. And I want to say, give a personal thanks to TML. Last night we were talking and he moved his residence over, so thank you so much for that. And I have to send him a Samurai Surfer. I'll put one in my shop reserved for him.
Well, it's nice that he replies to you because he don't reply to me.
No.
All right, so yeah. And I would say too, there is, if you did want to get involved in this, there is actually properties available for sale with structures on them now in Midtown Terrace. I believe the floor might be there 125 USD.
Oh, wow.
So that's, and you get don't forget that if you were to jump on that and temporarily put that as your home residence, well, yeah, you're still going to qualify for that free Samurai Surfer statue. So
last time I checked, it was ridiculous. It was like astronomical prices.
Yeah, we've had a few flippers kick in. Let me just see if I can pull that up now while we're talking. And then, Cheese, don't forget to mention that project you've got going on at the moment too in the Bronxdale. Maybe while I'm getting this ready, you can spam that.
Oh yeah, so I've been taking on trying to play a lot of the level 2 projects out there, and I really fell in love with Uplandia. And my Bronxdale node is going to be the first expansion, and I wrote out a bunch of really funny lore. Basically, it's about cows and people kind of like coexisting with the same intelligence. So you'll have to, go check it out to see more of it. And I'm doing all of my own art there, so it's taking a little time to get it out because I have to have an art piece for every kind of scenario and situation, but it's coming along. I'm halfway done.
Yes, don't sleep on that one. So yeah, we've got what have we got here? We've got 3 properties that are cheaper than the Samurai Surfer rate. So there's one there for 125 with a structure, and then there's 2 at 150,000. So not a bad
There's
deal.
a Midtown Terrace for 150,000
UPX. Yep.
Wow.
Because I just stopped gobbling up the floor. I'm like, we've got our percentage built rate at 85. If you want to flip out, go for it. And they got structures on them, so that's what we always said internally within the team. If you want to sell, that's all well and good, but the very least you could do is put a structure up on it. So thank you for that. The people that are doing that. So yeah.
Yeah, and now with these level 2s, like the nodes are going to be becoming more and more valuable, especially with numerous meta ventures on it, like a speedway. You could get sponsored events. With the Uplandia, you own property, you get easier time growing your own stuff instead of using the public farm. So it's nice to see that nodes are finally getting their due.
Notastic, yes.
Notastic.
All right, that's all the Upland news I had to touch on. Unless anybody else had anything else to go on, we can dive on in.
Pour us a hot cup of the X, please. We'll let you guys
with the sound effects in the background.
We'll kind of like give you guys free reign of what you want to say, put forth, and then if you haven't answered them with that, I'll just ask we'll ask a few questions at the end.
Oh, absolutely.
Sounds good. Sounds good. First, I feel like such a noob in this room with you guys, with your property and your spark. I don't even own a car. I'm such a loser.
You'll get there. It's
I'll
still
get-
really early.
Oh, well, noob is true, but loser, that's being a bit
No,
harsh
yeah.
on yourself.
I'm basically homeless.
You're a newbie, man. You're a newbie. You're not.
I got to step on my game, especially hanging out with Essay and Satoshi. Man, they're rolling deep. I mean, man, I got to step on my game. I love
find you
it.
a place in Bronxdale if you want.
I like Bronxdale too. Did you? Is that from the movie too? Did you see the movie Bronxdale?
Yeah, I did. I
Love
did.
that
One of
movie.
my best friend's sister's friend was in that movie. She was the leading girl character.
Ah,
Oh.
awesome.
I'm about to watch it again.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. I always use that reference where now's you can't leave.
Yeah. It's funny what Dan said there. That's exactly how I felt when I joined in January 2020 with Upland. You looked around the map and there was people there that had their net worths were like 1 million or 5 million UPX worth, and I just couldn't believe it. I was just like, wow, I'm already too late, so you're never too late.
Right.
I have a lot of work to do, man. I'm a contradictory, in terms like I'm a game designer, but I don't play games much. I just like sort of just study them because I was such an addict as a kid. And into all the way into my 30s, I was such an addict where I used to have to have my friends hold on to my games. I'd be like, just hold on to this. And then hours later, I'd call them, can I get that game back?
Jonesing for it. Wow.
I was so bad. I mean, you have to almost be at that level to become a game designer because it's not enough playing the games. You're like, I need more. I need to control them now, too.
Yeah.
So
I game a lot, too. I game a lot.
Oh, I know. So I'm like always worried, like, am I going to get back into that addiction mode if I start playing it? So I always try to like control myself because, games are powerful, and Upland is more than the game, it's an entire world. It's a metaverse. And that's what people don't understand. A lot of the gamers don't realize where it's evolving to. This is Upland's more than a game. You actually can make money. It impacts your real life. You learn from it, business mechanics. You learn how to buy, sell, entrepreneurship, start your own, organization.
Arbitrage. I mean, I've been on multiple calls. They're talking about arbitrage and how cool is that, right? To learn those strategies. And by the way, Dan, I am already, I think, down the rabbit hole, man. I'm multiple continents now and stacking properties. I'm following Satoshi's lead, and nice. It's been fun, man. It's logging in, do it, get my upix every couple of hours. Like I'm there, man. I'm in the cycle. So yeah, I get it. And it is really, when you tie the community in, I mentioned that last night. And when you tie this community at Superfest that we were able to experience and meet, and Morecheese and everybody, I mean, just it was so welcoming and warm, and everybody just is there for the same vision, even though their own purposes. Everybody has their own incredible vision that they're either working on or developing, or is already up and operational, or they're just there playing the game. They're not looking to build anything out, or it was just a little bit of everybody. But a whole lot of real high level energy, not just Pollyanna enthusiasm, real high level energy. And that's, I think, the thing that really tipped me over, even at Superfest. Now I'm down the rabbit hole. I swallowed the pill.
Yeah, I talked to Cheese about this before we got kicked off too. I've famously been banging on that for me this is only a game, because I come in it from a mobile gaming kind of perspective. And I said I would never really switch my mindset until I could start paying off my real life mortgage. But I've been doing that for the last 8 weeks. And this week I'm set to pull out. When I withdraw on my Wednesday, the amount that I'll pull out from that week's worth of sales will be more than my weekly income from my wage, my actual job.
Wow.
Which is congratulations.
Insane to think about.
That's a story. That's a story, man.
Crazy. So
that's
congratulations.
Yeah. So I always said, once I start paying off the mortgage, it'll be a different kind of mindset. Well, yeah, It's happening.
It went from a hobby to a business.
Literally, yeah. That's the end of the Australian financial year is June, and now I'm having to consider registering, a business and this sort of thing to take advantage of tax stuff. So yeah, it's the last 2 months have been insane. So
yeah, I'm
gonna
so
get better.
impressed with that. I'm so impressed with how he's doing it, and I think arbitrage is the perfect word for Upland. Like, that's actually awesome. I'm telling all of y'all it's arbitrage.
Oh, sabotage. That's the Beastie Boys spinoff. I like that. We should redo that for Upland.
You should.
Title of the show.
That's a nasty hook song waiting to happen for sure.
Maybe.
It is. It is.
Yeah,
like
so I mean, I'm excited that we're working with Upland and building an Upland, and I want to bring more gamers and people from our community and our growing community over, because this is where it's evolving to. I don't want to strive to go off too much on a tangent, but I want the gamers to know, man, we've been playing games for so long, and they give us fun, but they're evolving to give us more. They could give us a different lifestyle. They can give us, an opportunity to make money, an opportunity to design our own games. Upland's huge on that. A lot of people are starting their own games and building and whatnot, which wasn't possible before. So Web3, there's a rift happening on Web2, Web3. A lot of the gaming industry is sort of fighting it and trying to knock it. And that's got to stop. That's why I really, as a game designer in this space, I really want to, I hope my dev diary can show a lot of the gamers and the guys that are stuck in Web 2 where it's evolving, because it's about the user, it's about the gamer, and it's about giving back. Too long have these AAA game companies just taken from us and taken our time, our money, everything, and never given back. They actually layer on top and try to take more from us. Double dip it, not even from the users and the gamers, but even from the developers.
Yeah, the developers.
So it's a new movement happening in the Web3 space, and I'm so happy to be part of Upland, because everything that Dirk and Adon and the executives want out of this metaverse, is really, it's like coming to fruition, and they see a big vision of giving back to everybody that's inside Upland. I mean, they're giving back to us right now by allowing us to build and supporting us, marketing support and whatnot. These bigger companies, they don't even want to open the door to even talk to us.
But then on the flip side of that, you've got the gamers, like Cheese and I have been covering this for well over a year, that the gamers are pushing back against, the whole NFT thing. That's just utterly bizarre. And then we've got, platforms like Reddit where they do an NFT sale, but they call it everything except an NFT because they don't want to be brandished with the NFT word. Well, what do you think's behind that reluctance from gamers to embrace it?
I think I'm just going to jump in, then you could jump in too, Sean. Like, I think there was a couple nasty little issues that happened. I think Ubisoft they did an NFT launch that wasn't an NFT launch, but they're saying it at first, right?
Ghost Recon.
Yes. So
I played it because of that.
Yeah, so these gaming companies actually tried to get in this space, and they tripped over themselves because they were still trying to exploit. It wasn't true what they were doing. It wasn't real Web3. It wasn't really an NFT. You didn't own it. So they were sort of like, they were trying to jump in real fast and get it. And then when they fumbled the ball, then they step back and blame the whole culture of Web3. Nah, guys. And then that narrative trickled. And then that narrative just got spun. And then all the AAA companies like, let's keep this narrative because we could keep our shit tight.
You're right. You 100% right, because like they did F that up so bad, and then they messed up and they're like, oh, we're not doing it anymore. And then they're not doing it anymore. So the NFTs that they gave out are worthless, are useless.
Yeah. So then all the gamers are like, oh, we just got duped this whole, and then they blamed it on the whole market because that's how the narrative got spun. And it ain't right. And I think the gaming companies are about to get slapped in their face And the X is on the forefront to slap them in their face. It's too long. This has been going on, and it's all about the gamer. All right. First, they don't protect their lobbies. They don't protect anybody. This is the community. Ever since I got into Upland, I start speaking fast. I'm sorry. I get pumped up.
Go for it.
But the Upland community is like looking after each other, helping each other. You go into lobbies in Fortnite and whatnot, there's grown people just trying to steal from these kids. Buy me these skins, get me this stuff. They're like getting attacked from all these directions. And where is the gamers, the companies, this big company behind? They're not protecting them. They're just off making the next game so they can make their next buck. Right. And then like just what happened to us with Guitar Hero, we were right in the middle of the next Guitar Hero, and Bobby Kotick and Activision shut it down just because the margin wasn't enough. All right, let's get rid of these 200 developers, and later on we'll outsource it to another company, to another country and another company. And it's so messed up right now. And I don't think enough game designers talk. Like my teachers in Full Sail University that came from the gaming industries, they're like, I don't know if you want to go there. And I see why, because I mean, I experienced it firsthand. I experienced it before I even went to college. I experienced it at Acclaim when they locked the doors on us and they didn't pay us for a month, and the Acclaim went bankrupt. Acclaim Entertainment, one of the biggest companies in the world. That's where I started, right? They didn't pay us for a full month. And then at the end, when we showed up for work, the doors were all locked with all of our stuff inside. Oh, we went bankrupt, guys. So there was a big lawsuit trying to get the money. And all these people are just out of work, and out of a month worth of pay, we're already starving, right? That's our livelihood. And they did us dirty. And I was like, I'm going to go and start from scratch. I'm going to go back to college. I'm going to get, my bachelor's in computer engineering, understand the fundamentals of game design. And I'm going to try to make a difference in the game industry. And I went back to school. I got recruited by Activision, and I tried to make a difference, but I saw the same thing happening again. I saw it on Guitar Hero where they got rid of most of my friends like that. And it was like, it was so sneaky that it was like, we were a year and a half in development on the next Guitar Hero, and we're all pumped up, right? You got huge teams on this. Guitar Hero was like 200-man team, right? Deep in it. And then just one day out of the blue, call a meeting, Guitar Hero shut down, guys. And you go to your office and you're gonna be told if you've been affected. And I just saw all my friends dropping like flies, and I'm like, something's got to change. And then all of a sudden Web3 came up years later, and now I'm back with this team, with this squad, and we're here to make a difference.
That's awesome. Nice. I love that. I watched your diary too. It's very inspirational. Definitely, yeah. It's very motivational. I think everybody should give it a watch. Just to kind of, know where you're coming from and where everything's headed to. They would definitely, even enjoy the game even more knowing all of that. How did you guys all meet? How did you meet up? Like that's got to be an interesting story.
Everything happens for a reason. Sean, you tell him good, because it was like, I mean, it was just it was this faith that, like, I met the right people at the right time to do the right thing. And Sean, go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of serendipity, and just a few degrees of separation. But one of my clients and really, real true innovators in direct marketing, a guy named Tony McKnight and George Reed. They're actually, not only are their companies a sponsor of the X, Survival Dispatch, and Big Daddy, which was one of the largest e-com sports retailers, weapons, lifestyle, gear, tactical gear, you name it, everything under the sun, weapons. They did all kinds of great stuff. And they were working with Dan's company, Mode Meta, at the time on a weapons project. What was so cool about it is they called me up, and they knew that I was in Web3, and I'd worked with them over the years on many different marketing projects. And George was thinking, he's like, man, these guys worked at Epic, and not only did Dan work at Epic, but they built the Ford Bronco. They did Activision Blizzard, and not only that, but they're working on the Ford Bronco, and then they're doing these weapons for us. You just got to meet them. I think there's something there. You're doing something with those NFTs and that Web3 thing. Why don't you guys should meet? You really should meet. And I'll just kind of fast forward through it. We got on a call, and kind of, we met each other and went through the introductions, and Dan was, they were sharing the stuff they were building with a weapons configurator and weapons visualizer and explaining how that technology worked. And my mind's going, a million miles a minute and just kind of absorbing it all. And I said, hey, give me a couple of weeks. And I came back with a business outline, which is really the outline of, can I share my screen? Is that okay?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
Oh, okay, great. So that outline was really the what grew into this Web3 gaming platform. And it was really it was really a combination of these assets, and the names might have been different, but the outline was there. And as I went through explaining, like, I'm not really interested in like a CSGO or a digital twin weapon, just a weapons play, but I'm really interested in blockchain gamer. That's where my heart was. My thesis was that's where, I wanted to put the first big Web3 venture as far as what I was launching at BlockX, our Web3 venture fund. And we wanted to be able to find the right project. And when I met Dan and we went through it, Dan, I got done, and he goes, okay. He goes, are you done? And I'm like, yeah. And I get goosebumps every time that I think about it. Dan automatically is like, I've been building that for 10 years.
Wow. And
he lifted the veil, so to speak, and showed me this portion of a museum that had a couple of legendary commanders, one named Julius Caesar. And Julius Caesar commanded the 10th Legion. And that's where the X comes from. And Dan's vision, as you saw in his dev diary, was around Roman warfare and recreating basically Call of Duty in the Roman times, right? With real Roman warriors and real storylines. But Dan also had, because he came from the innovations lab and what they did on Guitar Hero, Dan had figured out that, hey man, you can do a real knowledge transfer through a digital experience. And they had proven that in Guitar Hero. They couldn't prove it in obviously combat games, but ultimately Dan believed that you could also resurrect these memories and have people have more in gaming and learn from and resurrect this history that, in essence gets buried and gets changed and gets lost, and resurrect that. And Dan began to unfold, which turned into what you're looking on the screen, the first 9 assets, which were legendary commanders, which are the basis of the collection, the 6,500 legionnaires, which are a mashup of those 9 different legendary commanders. And they all are ascending to the metaverse. These are the first in-game assets in phase 1 to basically play a series of mini games called The Quest. By the way, one of those launching exclusively and first ever in Upland. One of those mini games that will tie into our grand quest for 150,000 in cash, crypto, and incredible gear. Not just hoodies not just hoodies and beanies, but gear from our actual suppliers like Skydio and Ghost Robotics and Survival Dispatch. So, and this whole entire quest and this whole entire model came from literally meeting one day, going through, looking at Dan's capabilities, his technology, and just being inspired, and then coming back and having this idea that he had already started and had been working on for 10 years of his life. And that's why we talk about serendipity playing such a big part in this collection. And then the rest unfolded like anything through creative meetings and working together that spun off the actual first art you see here. That's the actual commemorative art and behind me, when we came up with this idea to mash up, because the other thing Dan talked about was that the greatest superhero catalog are these individuals, right?
Yes.
Cleopatra. You mentioned Danny Oakley. Yep. Somebody mentioned Danny Oakley. It's funny. I bring her up. Yeah, you did. I bring her up all the time.
Yeah.
There's going to be another 9 legendary commanders, and there's going to keep growing the ecosystem because there's just so many great stories to tell. But we started with 9, all searching for the one legendary commander. The one legendary commander, by the way, is.
I was just going to ask you that.
And that's the modern and the futuristic. And when we say future, not like make believe, but actual items like the Jedi sleeve that are being tested right now. They're not even available to civilians or for commercial sale. They're being tested, I think, at the SOCOM, right? SOCOM, Dan, on Jedi sleeve.
Yes.
So all looking for, and whoever finds that is gonna crack the code. Think of like Ready Player One or Yuga Labs and any of these incredible scavenger hunts, right? That integrate skills and mini games. That's the new way to build a game, not in a vacuum, but through the voice of the community, not with $100 million in capital and focus groups and the way Dan, that's why we chose Web3 and to grind it out in the trenches and to build a community with those 9 legendary commanders and those 6,500 legionnaires, which are a mashup of those 9 legendary commanders. And they all carry the traits of the one.
It's very interesting, that educational element. I hadn't really considered that before. But when I reflect on it, most of the history that I know, I learnt from Slayer and Iron Maiden lyrics. So perhaps this is like the future integration of that. Like Cheese and I have talked on this show about how Web3 is going to change the look, the feel of education. So yeah, you can literally, have some fun, play, earn, learn. It's all packaged in one.
Oh my God, Ben, play, earn, learn. Wow. That's a better that's an even better title. So yeah, it's really cool to actually know where the name came from. And
there you go. Look, it's right there. Yeah.
Play, learn, earn.
Yeah. That's cool.
I would have never guessed the Julius Caesar's tent thing. And I think that's really cool that it came from that. Sorry.
And whoever that's right. And whoever cracks the code will command the 10th Legion. Wow. They'll be the one legendary commander. You'll actually become that. And we'll show you, it's behind Dan right now. You get all the loot, all those, everything you see on the screen or even behind Dan, everything that you see is a real asset that you own. It's a digital twin of either it's historic, legendary commander. So on the screen right now is a Leonidas Legionnaire. And that Leonidas Legionnaire has got it has swords, it's got a helmet, it's got all kinds of other things like death masks and different variations. And that's the historic, but it also has the modern weapons from our in real life suppliers, people like Syndicus, CEO, Core Elite Operations, which by the way are all Ghost Robotics. These are the leading weapons manufacturers, the leading tactical or lifestyle companies, survival companies, training companies, and we have them as real digital twins where we create them, and then you get to own those assets and train with those assets in our actual metaphor.
So that would mean like that character's decked out with multiple NFTs. So I'd assume each of those NFTs comes with its own like historical write-up and all of that sort of stuff. So you're building a grand picture. That's freaking awesome. Yeah, I haven't.
Like if you look at that Legionnaire right there, Ben, that's the hat Napoleon wore at Waterloo. Those are his dress swords. He comes with his pocket pistols. It comes with his traveler's pistols, all digital twins from museum pieces that sit there. So almost every commander, we, of course, like the older ones, Sun Tzu, Leonidas and stuff, we sort of had to use our imagination of what his weapons and what he looked like and everything. But the ones that we actually have the information. So that's like Napoleon's death mask. A lot of the commanders back in the day used to get a life mask or a death mask created for them because that was like taking a picture of them, right? And so those are famous pieces that usually were done by famous artists from those time. And Sitting Bull has a death mask. Washington has a life mask. Napoleon has a death mask. And we recreated those as well so people can see them and see, their real features in a whole new way.
And through those NFTs, you'll be able to read the description, and then if you want to learn more, you can then go on to research it more yourself. That's I think that's incredible.
And look at the detail.
Right. And these digital assets are actual. You can actually they're right. You could take them apart. You can actually there's a secondary market for them. They could be traded. They could be sold. These first to fight legionnaires come with these assets. And each, like this is Napoleon because Essay's on with us, right? So Essay is the actual Napoleon legendary commander. Those are kind of like the first seed investors, the board of directors, right? They're the founding fathers, literally, of the NFT collection, the Genesis collection. And when you mint out a Napoleon, one of our innovations in our smart contract is you can mint to cohort. So you can choose Sun Tzu or choose Napoleon. If you chose Napoleon, you're only going to get historic traits, which are, by the way, items, right? which are also part of what make up those unique, ultra rare, super rare, right? All of those a billion combinations that your NFT could yield. Because by the way, when we talked about how we met and what happened on that day, the gun configurator and visualizer, Dan was able to repurpose that and rebuild it to be an NFT visualizer configurator. It's the same technology. So that's why you're seeing an NFT that's evolving Blueprint and UE5. So this is built on the Unreal Engine, and it will evolve with you, because as you play the quest and you go into our Metaport and you play these branded experiences where you do learn. I know one of the questions was, hey, can you actually grow and benefit as an individual? That's the whole premise, is don't play the hero, become one, and actually level up yourself in the process of playing this high-stakes strategy game.
Last night
yes,
in the comment section.
Such a good question. It was such a good question. And in this metaphor, which by the way, you're looking at the macro of the micro of what's inside of the actual Upland. So we're replicating this. So this should help connect the dots for all the Upland gamers, that ultimately inside of our metaphor, inside there'll be select experiences that are, again, co-branded with our in real life sponsors that will have drone racing or Skyrunner. We talked about vehicles. Wait until you see what the Skyrunner looks like. Dan will show that here, and that's coming. We're really excited about that.
Looks really freaking cool. Like that drone racing. Oh my God.
So it sounds like there's going to be a lot of opportunities for, think of players that are going to get in at an entry level, but if they play and engage in the game, they're going to be able to upgrade all of these things, and then, an income, to upgrade those. There's a lot of people that come into these things and they don't want to grind it out. They just want to get, they want to pay for the good stuff and just get kicked off. So that sort of thing sounds awesome too. Right.
So, and we're going to keep this simple, right? The first thing we start with is the game, the mini range, which is the mini game, and we'll get into that in a second. But I want to come back to something that you had mentioned just a second ago, which was great, which you had I think it was about, wow, I never thought of the historical part, and Dan will get a little further into this. I'll play this little quick segment of what our immersive VR experiences will look like, the digital memories, because that's exactly what each Legionnaire will be able to experience from legendary commanders throughout the platform. Not just their legendary commander, they'll be able to have unique experiences because they hold a specific one, like in this example, it's Sitting Bull that I'm going to play. But this is a digital memory that Dan's resurrecting from legendary commanders, that when you are in XR or VR in this example, and you put the helmet, when you put your goggle on, or your Google, right, whatever you might be using, you're going to be able to actually have an immersive experience where maybe you'll learn how to track a buffalo for real, and you'll learn the weighting of a bow, because the way Dan programs with haptics, and he'll talk about that when he takes stage here in a second. But this will give you an example of short little immersive experiences, which we believe are the future of gaming, where they're not long extended periods in VR. You're going to be able to have an XR, and you might use a short little 8-minute experience. This is just a few seconds of it experience, and then move on to a different experience in a different experience, maybe inside of a mini range inside of Upland, and then into an augmented experience, and then into a meta quest where you're doing something in the meta platform. So let me click play here, give you a little example of a digital memory. Can you guys hear that?
No.
Geez, you might have to, on the share options, there's a tab there to share audio.
Yep, got it.
It'll probably be in.
There we go. He got to do it on his side.
Yep.
Oh, this is cool.
You guys can hear it?
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, this just... I'll wait till it's finished. This is crazy. Gets the goosebumps up. So what that is there is you hear a lot of people who are interested in history. They say things like, "Oh, I'd love to go back and be a fly on the wall on some of these key events." Well, here you're not being a fly on the wall. You have the ability to have an active role in, you know, exploring those experiences. That is freaking cool.
Now I have
Yeah,
a
well,
question. Oh, sorry. Real
I
quick.
was just gonna,
Oh, go ahead.
oh, sorry. No, go ahead, Morecheese.
Well, like the way that you were walking, it kind of reminded me of a game that I've been playing since 2014 called 7 Days to Die. Will you ever evolve in the future to like an open world type thing, like a COD, Fortnite type thing where you could run around, battle royales?
That's what the fort's going to evolve like it's like a social hub where it's all the action is starting to happen in the lobbies of a lot of these games, right? It's like this is where we're communicating, this is where we're planning our strategies, this is where all the action's happening. So we turn the lobby into an environment, which we call the metaphor. And now that thing's going to open out where it has the portals into those different experiences. Here's the gun range. Here, you know, here's the museum. And inside the museum, you could put on your helmets from the different commanders and get experience those short form memories. Each commander has a life experience and a death experience attached to them. Each commander has a life, a mask and a death mask. So we're going to learn from their lives and we're going to learn from their deaths because they each had something to give to us and teach us. And a lot of that's lost. Even Alexander the Great on his deathbed, he gave us pieces of wisdom that we're not passing down to people, right? Genghis Khan is looked at a conqueror, but if you hear him, he wanted peace. He says war is a disease. He's like, I'm the
funny way to go about it.
Yeah, he's like, I'm the wrath of God because someone needs to change all this because he experienced horror as a kid, right? He experienced, you know, slaughter of his family and subjected to slavery. And so all the commanders have something to give us from their life experience and from their death experience. And there's a new way to transfer their knowledge, and it's using technology now. And so it's more immersive because our attentions are taken in so many different directions. Now with virtual reality, we can put you in, it's time to really learn what they wanted to teach you, and you're going to get immersed in it. And that's why
what was the phrase you just used there? Short memory something? Yeah,
short form memory experiences.
Yeah, that's sick. That whole angle is incredible.
Yeah. So okay, go Ben. I'm sorry.
No, go Dan. Go.
The X stands for a lot of things. The X, could be anything, of course, like in mathematics, but it also stands for the 10th. But it also stands for the sweet spot of a virtual reality experience, which is 10 minutes. So it's going to grab your attention and it's going to give you 10 minutes of a really powerful experience that is going to help you learn. And it's not the fantasy anymore. Everybody can do fantasy, right? Because we're so creative as a species, the ultimate creator, our fathers give us that. We're all designers. And it's in us, but to actually take what's already happened and keep passing it down is how we're going to really learn. And when it comes to war, if any of you guys are fans of Napoleon Hill, Law of Success, or any of his books and whatnot, the only way we can ever abolish war is if we teach the kids and all the schools and all the churches, and we teach the kids that war is a nightmare. All right. It's not fun. It's not like we're presenting it, especially in our American culture. It's like, everybody looks at it. It's something that's exciting. And to get as a young kid, even me, I want to join because my father joined and my grandfather, I want to go to battle, but no. And Sun Tzu will teach us this. He's like, the ultimate battle is when there's no bloodshed, right? So if you read Art of War, that's why we resurrected Sun Tzu as well. There's so much to learn from these commanders, and we're going to present it in a whole new way, not to promote warfare, to hopefully we're creating a virtual army. So one day there won't be needing a real army.
That's cool. Yeah.
That is cool. Now I saw the prices for the weapon packs. 25, 50, and 75. And I'm always a fan of, accommodating different players, different play styles, and having affordable options as well as more rare options for those who want to, go full force into a project. can you go into what each package offers, each price point?
Take it away, Satosh, the architect. But you're on mute, brother.
Sorry about that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right. So as far as setting up all the packs, we have a basic, premium, and elite pack. We could definitely change the names going forward, but for the basic pack, the $25 pack, there'll be 3 guaranteed guns. Exclusive guns not guaranteed. You have a 20% chance of gaining one. For the
Okay.
premium pack, you have 4 guns guaranteed. You get 1 exclusive and 40% chance of getting another one.
Nice.
And then at the $75 price range, you get a guarantee of 5 guns with 2 guaranteed of exclusive. So if people want to ball out and they want to, drop money, they can guarantee that they're going to get the guns.
Now, will this also be available in UpX to purchase?
Yes. I don't know about the initial sale, right?
Okay.
But yes, for certain. And another thing I'd like to add onto that is we actually made a whole tier system for all the guns. So we have like a black edition, which is your high end. You have the Arctic camo, your OD green, and your gray. And there's multiple attributes. I'll just go through a few, but we have handling, accuracy, precision, range, power, rate of fire, ammunition capacity. I think you get the point.
Yeah, no,
But,
I like the stats. I like listening to stats and stuff. I like that there's a lot of options too.
Yeah.
Well,
No,
yeah, I was just gonna add that similar to the you've heard Don talk about the immutable and mutable assets.
Yes.
Essentially the components of the NFT. So that's essentially what it is. So we have obviously the immutable portions of the weapons, but then we have similar to the cars. We have, I think, I don't know how many there are right now, but 10, 11, 12 mutable assets. Whether that's kept in a database, that we have in the game, or whether it's, burned into the NFT itself on EOS, still yet to be determined. But the point of it is if I spend time, playing, I get some XP. If I, upgrade my weapon, then I can do that too. And so you can see how you can add value just by playing the game to an NFT that you bought for $25, let's say. And then, now it's upgraded and you have all the stats there. So whenever it's traded or sold, someone else, a different player, they're able to come into the game and realize that value.
That looks so
that's
hot.
huge.
That looks so hot. Look at that pistol, everyone.
Yeah, cheese. So that's the Big Daddy Damascus. There's only 3 made in the world.
Wow.
They're $100,000 gun. They literally brought it to my house like with a security guard when I was digitally twinning it. And it's a gun that you really won't ever get your hands on or see. Well, 3 people own it. Mr. Cabot's one of them. And this right now, and what's there's a reason why I'm building these kind of digital twins and in NFTs right now, because I don't see any really other NFT artists building with longevity in mind. Yeah. So like these, we have all the way up to 8K textures that we can't even render on the HoloLens. We can't even render in virtual reality for another 3-4 years. Wow. So these actually appreciate and will evolve naturally based on their texture mapping, the way we approach it with longevity in the digital collectible.
Now, go ahead.
I was just going to follow on from that. Like you just said there that they brought that incredibly rare gun to your house and you scanned it and all that sort of stuff. With partners that you're working with like that, how have you found that process about educating them about the Web3 space and, getting them on board and evolving, their understanding of what this is all about and where it's headed?
That's a great question, Ben, because it's been a hard one. This has been a hard road trying to bridge this gap. We even did early launch to try to bring the Web2 side in it. And Sean could talk a little bit more about how we approach that launch, because we're trying to bridge that gap and because people are scared of this space in a sense, there's a lot of bullshit going on, like a lot of people taking advantage of different companies. Hey, we're going to bring you in this space, we'll do an NFT collection. A lot of even charities. Like we talked to a couple of charities that try to do an NFT launch to help their organization. These are like Semper Fi Fund and these other organizations that help veterans, and they got taken advantage of. So like people are weary and scared, but the buyer as well. So Sean, you could talk a little bit more about how we try to bridge that Web2 and Web3 gap right off the bat when we were first initially working on this. He talks.
So it's been, So it's been a challenge, but at the same time, you know, we've had this incredible infrastructure build out that's taken place over the last, you know, through the bull run, right? And what's left and what's shook out is, and what's happening is that we have, you know, 250 brands since the beginning of the year. And a lot of those major brands, right? From you know, Louis to Gucci to, right, even Assassin's Creed, even gaming companies. Assassin's Creed has a whole digital twin that starts as an NFT and then ends up at your house, right, as an incredible collectible. But again, you can trade the actual digital NFT of that until somebody wants to take delivery of it. StockX is doing that. eBay is doing that now, right? They're moving in direction. Sports card trading is taking the blockchain. You can see an incredible documentary called Behind the Card with Steve Aoki. The last 15 minutes of it, they saved the best for last. They go, okay, so now the real question, and that's when the whole show comes together, right? And you see what these incredible people, you know, billionaires as well as, you know, the Peyton Mannings and what they're doing to, you know, to usher in the blockchain. So I think we're in a great place. I think that, you know, this really says it all. The Uplanders are proof in the pudding that it's working, and that even if you know, again, the NFT is a technology, we'll stop talking about it eventually, but it's just the ownership layer of Web2. And what we've tried to do, explaining to Web2, successful Web2 companies and the companies we're working with, is that this is just the ownership layer of Web2, and it's a way to build a super fan club. So if you could just start with that simple understanding that people can have brand equity and own a part of your brand and actually have ownership, that's way better than just somebody on a fan club email, right? That's audience building versus community building. So they understand those things inherently, right? And they're getting them more than ever. So I think that, you know, I won't bore everybody with numbers, but this is what's really happening. So I think we're at the never been positioned at a more perfect time. It's been an incredible bear to grind through, to keep shipping product, to see the things that we do and keep the meter's always running. And the reality of it is that when you're in a bear and you still have this incredible adoption that has to take place, that just leaves so much opportunity for growth. And that's why we pivoted our entire model to take on this Upland and actually said, we're going to start first here. And that's the concept of our metaphor, is to be API, or API, that's the back end talk, but to connect and create an outpost into the actual metaverse. We're not building a metaverse because everybody's doing a great job doing that already, right? I mean, you have Upland. Why would we compete with that?
Exactly.
Try to create a metaverse.
Exactly.
We created a metaphor that connects to these metaverses, and that's that land bridge that Dan talks about, that we thought if we could create that land bridge and bring communities together, Web2, Web3, mobile, right? VR, all of that, but that land bridge through different key social, key metaverses. That's where we started with Upland, from our mini game to our weapons packs. All of that is starting right here first. And I do have to bow out for just a few minutes. I have a 4:45 that I scheduled that I could not change. So what I'm going to do is leave this running and come back in, or come back in if that's okay with you guys, and leave me in Dan and Satoshi and Essay's hands. And I apologize, but I'll come back in, and if everybody's still here, I'll look forward to jumping back in. But thank you for having me and us, and just giving us all this time to kind of unpack and share the bigger picture of the X.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you could come back. I have some questions.
Yes. Well, that's kind
of we'll see if you're still on, right? And we'll see how long this meeting goes. Believe me, I'd much rather be on this than where I'm going, but I'll be back shortly.
I like that.
We'll talk soon.
Okay, take care,
All
Sean.
right. See you, Sean. So
long live the X.
I wanted to Morecheese, what I was going to say a little earlier was, when I was, invited, Satoshi invited me to see what this was, and Satoshi and I, had been talking quite a bit before then, and then he basically said, Essa, you have to check this out, and so I checked it out, and Dan, I don't know if you can show the museum, but that's part of it right there. So we started with the first one, I think went 3 hours, 4 hours. I mean, it was incredible. We just hung out in the museum. And when I was done with the museum, I was hooked. I said, absolutely. I mean, this is amazing. I love history. I love what you guys are doing. And when Dan showed me Napoleon, I fell in love. One of the reasons was, trying to figure out, okay, well, this project, how would it fit into Upland? And it was pretty clear real fast. I mean, when you look at Napoleon, you see what I saw were map assets. I saw a whole bunch of digital twins. I saw a map asset, a weapon, a pistol, map asset. I saw a rifle map asset, and the level of detail that they had was phenomenal. I mean, he went underneath one of the guns with the camera and zoomed in on the pistol, and the detail was absolutely.
I saw that. I was blown away. I know. I remember getting into this months ago, and seeing this, and I remember you contacting me like probably over 6 months ago, and
Yeah.
that's when I watched the diary and I got kind of like really into it. And then I was like, all right, they're going to be really busy. I didn't want to bother too much because I know how hard it is to kind of put stuff together like this. And then you came back to me and I was like, yeah, like, all right, cool. Like, cause games can go either up or down. And I was really happy when you contacted me again, and you were like, yeah, we're going through with this, and we're ready to come on the show, and we're ready to like talk about it more. And I was like low-key fangirling because I say the wrong things sometimes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I really want to shoot someone. I shouldn't say shit like that. But I do like games where you could do that. Like I played the Ghost Recon where you snipe, and I play all the the games where you have guns and whatnot. And not everybody has to play this. Like, if you don't like that sort of thing, move on to the next level too. You don't have to play something like this, but it's nice that there's something for everybody. And I do have a question. I know that you guys mentioned VR, and is this primarily in VR, or can you do everything on a PC as well, like just regular
and mobile?
Yeah. So the first iteration is going to be with PC initially.
Nice.
The idea is that if you have these assets and you can play in PC, that you can carry them over to the VR experience, and following that will be mobile. So we're trying to nail all targets.
Now you also mentioned, I remember Sean saying something like, whether you use one VR over the other, will this be including multiple VR systems?
Dan, you want to take that?
Yeah, so right now we spit out applications for the HTC Vive, the latest editions for the HTC Vive, and also the back units as well. But we try to like focus on MetaQuest. That's where we do most of our testing on. So right now it's running on the Quest 2. We're also working on, it runs on the Quest Pro, and we're shooting for the Quest 3 as well. We also want to have like a hybrid coming out with the Apple Vision Pro as well. Yes, so we want to, cool. we use the Unreal Engine 5, and Tim Sweeney is a huge fan of the Metaverse. He's the one of the co-founders of Epic Games, and he's big on helping developers. He's big on growing the Metaverse. He's big on helping the gamers as well. I mean, when you look at the Epic Games and what they did with the Unreal Engine, it was the first big engine that was released to us developers for free. Everybody else charged us, right? And Tim Sweeney's always been like that. He's like, no, I won't even take any money from you until you make over $1 million. Wow. And then they'll take a percentage, which isn't even that bad. Yeah. And now they just launched the Fortnite creator as well, which we're dabbling in. We might bring one of our metaphors to Fortnite as well, because it's all the same tools.
That's awesome.
It's all the same tools. It's all connected, and we could spit out to platforms using the Unreal Engine. So we could spit out to the Vision Pro, to the Quest 3, and Quest 2, and the HTC Vive. It's all connected, and it's for scalability. The way we create games is going to change, and it's already changing really fast. It's getting less costly. You could go smaller teams, and you could build out where you're not tailored to one platform. You can spit it out for mobile, so you can optimize for mobile. And you know, the PC is where we're going to first dabble, and mobile, that's where, you know, most people are playing on. VR still is in its infancy, even though we've been at it. We've been developing in virtual reality for over 7 years now, 8 years. I've been developing augmented reality for over 10, and mixed reality. So it's like, I mean, Spiral Skylanders, we started doing a lot of AR stuff. And so it's still early, but now that all the technology is catching up and there's a whirlwind happening, you're going to see in the next couple of years that developers are going to be able to make small teams and create really, really cool experiences.
Nice.
And that's going to be a game changer. And I think those game companies are a little scared of that too.
Oh,
and
yeah,
people throw words like interoperability out there, but you know, now that we have like NFT portals, there's always been this talk about, you know, you can take this gun here and you can move it there, and that seems like if you're you know, exploring options with Fortnite, that's kind of where you're headed as well. So you know, you could technically upgrade your gun or whatever it is in Upland, and you could move that over to a Fortnite marketplace and sell it over there, or vice versa. So that's kind of crazy.
I think the unique thing about us is and something I don't see in any other gaming companies is we're on Unity as well as Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah.
So, you know, I think that's where the real interoperable play comes in, because I haven't, I might have said this last night as well, but I haven't seen a company in Upland, let alone at all, that has done this. You know, where you could bring it from one gaming platform or one gaming engine to another.
Yeah.
It hasn't been done.
Mean feat.
It's not easy either.
No, I can't even imagine. I've got a question for Dan, and then for you, Satoshi. For you, and if Sean is back too. What is it about Upland? Like we know the community, and the community in Upland has always been a unicorn. Like many of us who were here from even before Discord in the Telegram days, the Upland community has always been supportive, and everyone kind of looks around and is like, nobody can kind of put their finger on why that is the case. It just is what it is. Negative people just, for whatever reason, they never get a chance to get a foothold. They're just, you know, you're out the door, sunshine. So that's one aspect that I assume you're diving into. But what is it about Upland and the tie into real world properties? Is that an angle that you're pushing for as well? Like that's kind of the special feature of Upland as a metaverse. How does that play into things?
I always say, and excuse my language, I always say, if it ain't real, I don't fuck with it. So that's why I specialize in digital twins, digital memories, you know, heroes, real heroes from our past. I want to make the virtual world as realistic as possible. And Upland's same thing, you know, they're literally, you know, they're digitally twinning the world in a sense.
So it's like a core ethos of the whole project that you're building.
Exactly. It was like, it had to happen with Upland. It wouldn't have made sense with anybody else.
No,
it's part of our DNA, and it's part of Upland's DNA.
That's very cool.
You know,
Satoshi.
DC has Metropolis, right? But Marvel had New York City, and there was a reason why Stan Lee did that, because it does bring reality that this could be an everyday right, and that is a big part of it. Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to share, because SA and Satoshi were obviously, it's their vision as Uplanders, and by the way, incredible Uplanders when we met them, right? That was their main thing then. It's their main thing now. I mean, that is what they are and who they are. And the premise of our strategy rationale as a business, right, as a model that took a different approach of going and hiring and bringing people on, we said, hey, instead of selling people and giving away an asset to buy people's, let's go find people that really believe in it, want to invest in it, and they become a legendary commander. So you take Satoshi and you take Sanyika, who are Joan of Arc, you take SA, who's Napoleon, and then all of a sudden they start, Satoshi said it from day one before SA was even Napoleon, he kept talking and hinting, but he knew maybe we weren't ready because we had other fish to fry and other things to do. But he was quietly plotting in the background, and those wheels were spinning, and he would bring it up from time to time and talk about it. And I really think, and when the time is right, and then Essay came in and then became Napoleon, and then Essay and his incredible enthusiasm and his community, and then his vision of what he saw. And then before you know it, we were on a call because, as Satoshi said, I think the time is right. I'll never forget that afternoon call. He said,
Nice.
son, I think the time is right, because he's always so calm, you know.
But did he have a cigar?
Yeah, all the time. and he's like, I think the time is right. I'm like, for what? And he's like,
yeah. Well, that's an awesome segue for the question I've got for Satoshi. Like, you've been around for a long time. You've been involved in a number of projects, and I probably owe you an apology because I don't know if you know this, Cheese. I'm the one who introduced Satoshi to Adam and the whole green rabbit butthole. So you've had a lot of experience on the back end building these kind of systems, you know, some of which that haven't gone well. Well, what are some of the lessons that you've learned in those experiences that you've been able to take on board to move forward with this project? Because it definitely seems like this is, you know, it's not just a next level. It's just a completely different ball game.
Yeah, it's really tough. I think you know, one of my core things when going forward with a project is picking the team. Got to make sure the team's correct. Got to make sure that you vibe with everybody. If you don't have those two factors, it's not gonna work out well. And one of the main things is you all have to have the same vision. You got to make sure everybody's on the same page. All, you know, all wants the same thing. And yeah, no, it's funny because not until recently, you know, have I looked at, you know, my prior projects and, you know, what I've done. It's really amazing to see, like, you know, I've done nearly 5 projects in the last 2 years or 2.5 years, and a majority of the teams that I worked with, you know, a lot of people did come from Upland, you know, whether we ventured off of Upland or not. But when I saw this team and when I saw what they were doing, you know, it was night and day. I think so yeah. When I met Sean, it was at NFT NYC, and I was trying to get out of there. You know, I parked in some crazy spot in New York, and I thought I had a boot in my car. And I couldn't wait to get out. I remember running out, and, you know, somehow I caught him at the wax booth, and he just kept talking. But it wasn't until he showed me his phone and what was on it, and it was Dan's work. And the crazy part that, you know, not many people know is I was working on a whole different Metaverse project at that time. We never ended up launching, but after I saw, you know, what Sean had to show me, I put it all down. And I said, you know, if I cannot compete with what you guys are building, I'm gonna, you know, come join you guys. Yeah, and that's pretty much how it all started.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it.
Yeah. Hey, I just have to add one other thing too. I mean, you know, obviously giving Satoshi a lot of credit because, you know, Satoshi's, you know, he knows a lot about a lot of different things in this space, and you know, I've learned a lot from him. He's you know, given me different projects to look at, and I've learned the way he looks at things, which is fantastic. And this project, you know, spending 3 hours in the museum and falling in love. I mean, you know, I didn't realize at the time that I hadn't seen anything. You know, I mean, I just saw like one little room, you know, a big room, but. I mean, then I flew, you know, they flew me into the Metafort, and we went through all those buildings and all the assets. They have a repository of assets, not only all the stuff that they use, like textures and colors. I mean, weapons, ammo. I mean, it just tens of thousands. Maybe that's an underestimate, but they have a ton of assets. And you know, I think I may still be the one with the most factories and showrooms in Upland, but you know, I'm thinking, oh my God, we have to bring, and this is Satoshi said the same thing. Oh my God, we have to bring this to Upland because the map asset portion of it, you know, this is what we've been looking for. We're looking for map assets. We're looking for, you know, legits, utility, you know, gaming, all of the above. And they had everything. They had AR, VR, PC, mobile. I mean, it's incredible. So,
well, that's one of the things when we talk to people that are building NFT projects and the like. One of the things I always ask them: are you concerned about? Because a lot of people are highly passionate about their little projects. Are you concerned about your hobby becoming something? Oh crap! I got to do this to pay the bills. Like Dan's been working on that for 10 years as like a passion project, I would imagine. Now it's becoming something else. Is that something you're concerned about, Dan? Like this is like your baby. and then it's turning into, you know, a full-on business.
I mean, I believe everything happens the way it's supposed to happen if you have good intentions behind it. And my intentions behind this project, and it's not going to waver, is to make the gamer better in the ultimate game, which is life. And I think Upland's doing that in their own way. And this project's going to do it in their own way, because as a kid, you know, let me bring up I put this picture here just because it like brings me, it like always brings me back to like why I'm doing this. And let me see if I could get that real quick. There's one when I was working on Marvel, but let me see if I have this here. Here it is. This one right there.
Is that a ColecoVision controller or Atari? They're nice.
No, it's Atari.
I had that one when I was growing up. I'm aging myself.
Yeah, so like let me just get rid of two of these things real quick. So you know, like a lot of I don't know, a lot of people that grow up in poverty. I grew up in poverty. Just because my dad was a gambler, right? He really played the games. It paid to play. And we grew up in Vegas. My mom was a blackjack dealer. My dad was a craps dealer. Wow. And you should not be in Vegas as a craps dealer when you have a gambling problem, right? Ooh, so yeah. We moved around so much. He was also a veteran too. He was in the Navy. We moved around so much, and I've been to over 10 different schools. The only thing I could fall back on is my video games. It's the only thing that gave me peace and happiness and enjoyment out of my life. Everything else was very difficult. Poverty is really a sickness that is plaguing our country right now. I don't think people are aware of how many people are suffering. But video games, I always just like, I used to go over to my neighbors because I didn't have a console yet. I mean, we had the Atari, but when Nintendo came out, we didn't have it. We couldn't afford it. So I would sneak over to my neighbor's house, and they would find me in their living room playing freaking Mario Brothers at like 6 in the morning.
Wow.
And I knew then I was going to be a game designer. And I said, you know what? I always wish that a game designer would come along and teach me something so I could get out of this reality that I'm in, which is my real life. Teach me skills, give me something. And every time I put the controller down, I didn't get anything, right? I said, if that game designer doesn't come when I grow up, I'm going to become him. And that's why I'm here. Cool. When you put down the controller in my games, even if it's the range, I'm going to give you a little I'm going to give you some skills, a little speed, a little bit of accuracy, a little bit of timing, right? Just basic stuff. But with virtual reality, I'm going to give it to you more. I'm going to give you wisdom from the commanders from our past. I'm going to give you things that when you put down the controller, you're going to be better in the ultimate game, which is life. Because that is my mission. And I'm not wavering on that, to answer your question, Ben. So I'm not too worried. I believe, you know, I'm on a path where I'm supposed to, because I have the right intentions.
Well, you're kind of going full circle now, because you're creating a product that in the hands of, you know, a child like that who, you know, even, you know, they call them developing nations or whatever, the rate of mobile phone ownership is sky high, even in, you know, those developing countries. So this kind of platform in the hands of somebody like that, you know, it could be a way, like I mentioned, I'm paying my mortgage with stuff that I'm doing in Web3. Well, you know, it can be a way to kind of work towards helping you to get out of those situations. That's kind of incredible.
Yeah. And it's funny you say you sneak into your neighbor's thing. I made a comment, you can't do that in the Bronx, but me and my gamer friends used to pool, because I started working at 12, because I was like you, like we had summer youth programs in the Bronx for young kids from poor families and whatnot. And we would pool our money together and buy a system, and we would like kind of vote on whose house would keep it for 1 week, and then we would just all go over there and play it. And I remember I was over my friend Tian's house playing Resident Evil when it first came out, and I had to walk home, and it was really dark, no lights were on, and you know, you're in the Bronx, and I'm not scared of a mugger, I'm scared of like freaking zombies coming at me.
Awesome. That might explain the old story. Fetish. There's a fetish story there in the background. Oh, there we go.
How long was the walk? How long is the walk?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blocks.
Oh, that's a
It
lot
was
of New York.
about like 15 minutes.
That's riveting.
What a great story. I love it.
Explains a lot. It explains a lot.
Shush, man, shush. Now you answered one of my questions about the combat and leveling up and the training making you better. Now you also mentioned in the UDU podcast that this is going to come live July 4th. I have a second part question, but is that still true?
Well, we are aiming for that.
That's a placeholder we're shooting for. We are ready, but it's not all completely predicated on us.
All right.
Well, we know all about that. Yes.
Once it comes out, how long will we have to wait? Estimate, not definite, on the combat area to be available?
Yeah, good question. So our goal would be to be able to have access to the mini game that you were able to play immediately. The weapons packs will come shortly after, because they're going to be able to upgrade your gameplay, and that's going to allow you to have a digital collectible that you get to own, not just one that's, like going to the range and use, or I don't know if you go to these axe throwing places now that are popular, pretty cool. But you want to use their axes, or you want to bring your own axes, right? It's like, I want to bring my own axes. So that's going to come shortly. And again, we have it all built, ready to go. So it's just a matter of us getting green light, but we would like to see it happen in, sequentially, very quickly, from the time that it opens around that July 4th, if we make that. If not, shortly after that, and then right after that timeline, be able to have the weapons packs go live and, have these tournaments up and running right away.
All right. So like Upland has nodes, and you heard that Ben is the node father. He created
Grandfather
the node.
nodes. Yep.
He's the node father. And so a lot of people have that, and a lot of level 2s are putting utility towards these nodes in regards to the properties that are in there, in regards to kind of forming factions and people competing against each other. Are you planning to use factions within the game within Upland, and will you be making use of the nodes?
I would like to answer that.
Please.
All of the above, Morecheese. Everything, all.
Yeah, I love that.
We're in a situation where we're in the same situation that everybody else is in, which is because we're such a tight community, and we're in a community, all our community members, it's wonderful. We're like the people who have patience, the people who are dedicated. It's like a natural filter. Upland serves as a natural filter. It shakes all the non-diamond hands out, right? So, we're all trying to make the same stuff happen. And, we're all kind of bound to, Upland and the way that they roll things out. So, we're patient on that end as well. So yeah, we're open to a lot of different ideas. I mean, I think this has been an everyday focus for us. We've been grinding. We had to kind of go dark for a while because, as you said, we had to kind of focus and grind, and we've been dealing with this pretty much every single day. So we're trying to make, we've had these conversations of doing all of the above. So, as we got Playa del Rey got the first place in the neighborhood ratings, because we have a strong community, and we were focused and trying to figure, things out and doing some math equations. And, we all came together, and that's how we are. And whenever I say we, I'm talking about the X and Playa and, the community that we're spending a lot of our time in. So, yeah, I mean, the mentality that we have is working together and pulling together. So, that's, I think, we don't really want to go up against, other nodes per se, but more, want to try to work as a team and community, because that's essentially what's going on. We have people who were never part of Upland who are now our Uplanders. And I met them through the X. So there are people who have they're come from all different walks of life, and we've been walking them through how to become Uplanders, how to travel, getting primary residences, buying properties. I mean, we've pretty much been talking strategy. We have weekly, at least once a week meetings. So yeah, we want to work together with everybody and try to make all our dreams come true. Everybody, and I've learned a lot from you guys and from other community members as well. So yeah, I mean, we're open to a whole bunch of different ideas and trying to make those work.
That sounds cool. I can't wait.
It's very cool.
And we hope that we can be the first VR experience within Upland as well.
Really?
So
okay.
That's on our bucket list. That's on our mission objective. We hope to be the first virtual reality experience. We have it already. It's sitting there. We just we're staging our launches, but then seeing how everything goes. But that's one of our goals.
That's nice. That's a good goal to have. Like I have the MetaQuest, so I'm ready for it.
Very cool. Very cool. And it's not just about virtual reality too. Like a lot of you, I mean, I'm the VR director, so it's like, I'm going to be a little biased when it comes to virtual reality, but I've got into virtual reality not because of virtual reality. It was because of, I'm a big fan of 3D, stereoscopic. And I did the green light mission for Spiral Skylanders on the 3DS, which had a 3D screen without glasses, right? And it's more than, I think that we're stuck sort of in this 2-dimensional period that's about to shift to 3 dimensions. And when we look at people in 3 dimensions, we get a little bit more connected to them. And I think that's why a lot of people talk about virtual reality, because it's a little bit more real then. And then I feel myself differently when you look into a mirror or you look at yourself 3-dimensionally, which I have my own metahumans and whatnot. It's different. I'm a little bit closer to that dude, right?
Yeah.
That mirror image of me. And the stories for documentaries and everything like that. If you see war and combat in 3D, I used to, carry a 3D camera around for a long time, almost 10 years now. It's just different when I capture my family in 3D opposed to 2D. So that was one reason, but I'm also an audio guy working on Guitar Hero. I was the lead audio on Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 because I jumped around a lot. I was being groomed to be a creative director, so I got to jump on the different teams, and I fell in love with audio design. And when we really look at spatial audio, binaural audio, holophonic audio, the 3D, what we see in 3D visually is what binaural and holophonic audio does to us. And with spatial audio as well, Ben shook his head, so I think he's a fan as well.
Well, if I could just interject, I think that clip you played with the buffalo hunt is a prime example. That visually it looked cool, but when that audio kicked in, that's when it got the goosebumps up. That was what took it to the next level.
Yeah. So 3D, audio, haptics, and motion controllers. When I was recruited by Activision, I was brought right to Spider-Man 3. My first mission, black suit tutorial. Right. Second mission, the first tutorial in the game. I had to teach the user how to use Wii controllers. I never played a Wii. Right. It's like motion controllers. I'm like, wow, these things are freaking awesome. I can make you feel like Spider-Man, and that's my job. And so I fell in love with motion controllers, and now I'm falling in love with the idea of getting rid of the controller, hands-free, heads
awesome.
up. I don't want to be tied to anything. I want my real world and virtual world to come together so I can move and do things faster.
So not even like a haptic type thing, like where the air, like you wear the glove and you
gloves are cool because they add a layer of design to them. So like a controller, I can add the trigger pulls, right? You almost need a controller to add the vibrations and whatnot. So there's certain designs that work better with the controller in hand. There's certain designs that work better with the gloves in hand. And there's certain designs and things that I want to do without no controller because I want to move faster.
Like Beat Saber.
I don't. Beat Saber is another great one. I mean, these kind of designs work perfectly for motion controllers. So it opens up a whole nother world. And artists, you guys are content creators yourselves. You're an artist, Cheese. Ben is an artist. So as an artist, as creators, now a whole nother realm. What did you say, Ben? I missed it.
I just dropped that in and you're like, yeah.
He's
definitely.
a fartist.
I'm a fartist.
Oh man, that's why I love this show. I'm telling you guys,
Yeah.
we've been on a few different shows lately, and the Uplanders, whoever have been hosting us, has been the best, man. Because when we were trying to talk about our projects, on Twitter with other people and influencers and whatnot, they wanted something in return. And then when they got that, they didn't reach back out. You guys are putting us on a platform to talk to people. That's why I love Upland. I'm telling you, you guys put us on your platform. You invite us. You talk well about us, and you only want the best for your experience in Upland and for your community in Upland. And you invite people like us that and give us a platform to share what we want with nothing in return. And that's why we're here. It's a blessing. We're supposed to be here.
Yeah, well, I think what is clear is from Cheese and I, the history of doing this show is mixed reality and slim down headsets. That's the future. That's where all of this is heading. You're not going to carry, well, you may be still carrying a phone, but you're going to be able to access email and everything via some sort of glasses headset, and that will naturally get smaller and smaller and smaller. And when you add these kind of gamification elements, play to earn NFTs and all that sort of thing, it's cool to see that. You're talking about you've been working on this for 10 years, and you say it's like the right place, right time. I think it's incredible how it's all come together at this point, and to see that it's aimed directly at the future.
It has to be, man, because honestly, when you think about the user, and that's the main thing in my mind is the user, the gamer. I don't want to be stuck to a mouse anymore. It was a good idea, but hey, carpal tunnel syndrome, arthritis, all that stuff is real. If you're on these for most of your life, your career's on them, your business on them, and you play on them and whatnot, they're not designed for longevity.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
so you're right on with what you're saying. It's hands-free, heads up.
You might not know, Dan, but I was a hobby game programmer for several years. I programmed a whole bunch of games, and my game company, if you want to call it, was called Blue Thumbs Gaming for exactly that reason.
See?
Yeah, he's got some fun games. I've played a few of them. Bakio was a beast.
They're all like rage quitty games. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, you want to kill him kind of games.
I love that you're a programmer, Ben. I could tell it. I could sense. I could smell it.
Well, I definitely wouldn't call myself a programmer, but I did dabble in that world for quite a long time. So yeah, as a hobby. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
What is your favorite first-person shooters, non-NFT?
Satoshi, do you want to jump in there?
I would say, personally for me, and it's kind of most recent, has to be CS:GO.
What is it?
CS:GO, so Counter-Strike.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I mean, I'm a freak. I was really into Rainbow Six, bad. I had a real bad problem.
I love Rainbow Six. Yeah, but
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. My favorite is Overwatch.
That's a great one. Great one. I mean, yeah, but I would probably say Call of Duty, because once I got on Call of Duty, I literally was like, I'm gonna be a creative director on Call of Duty. I met with Grant Collier when I was at college. He's the one that started Infinity Ward, one of the co-founders. And I talked to him. I said, I'm gonna go and I'm gonna be a creative director for Activision to work on your game, because it was just something about the playability. It was just it was so user friendly that you could jump in and pick it up. Now it's really getting crazy. When you jump in, you usually get smoked by these kids because they're learning the map so fast. And a lot of it's, about if you know the map, then you're going to be good at the game. You have to know the map. But it turned into Call of Duty.
Yeah, mine's COD.
Call of Duty. Yeah. Yes. I was a mad fiend for Point Blank, if you remember that game. That was my big shooter game.
I never played Point Blank. I gotta put that on my list.
Oh, that's like an old school game. I used to, when I was at uni, my roommate and I, we had a 30-centimeter television, and we used to have this diary that we kept in because our apartment was just in a crazy apartment. So he'd go to work, and I'd sit there for an hour beating his high score on point blank and say, sucked in, dickhead, beat your high score. And then I'd go to work and then he'd get home and read it and he'd be raging and he'd sit there for the next 2 hours. So, yeah. Yeah, it's like an old school kind of silly game. Yeah.
Did you guys ever play Black Hawk Down?
No.
Yeah.
That was a good one because that came out with it had the biggest multiplayer at the time. It was a 50 multiplayer when it came out. Right when I think Modern Warfare 2 came out there around the same time. And that game was very interesting, the way they were doing audio, because they did the spatial audio so you could talk to your enemies.
Oh wow.
So you can like hide in their spot and be like, come over here. I got a good like a bunker set up, and then you shoot them. They're like,
oh, that's awesome.
It was cool how they did spatial audio in that one.
Yeah. Now the only other game that I really got into like that was similar to that was Resident Evil 4 on the Wii. That really hooked me in that game. I was a mad fiend for that.
I played that too. That was a good one. Very good. Graphics were great when that came out too.
Yeah. Yes.
Awesome.
Right, Chase, you got any other? Yep, Dan.
Real quick, first-person melees. That's what we're bringing to the table. Also, we talk about guns, but I have tomahawk throwing, spears, bow and arrow. We have an amazing archery system. Nice. I showed you a little bit inside the museum. We have a companion system for our horses. So we're bringing back to life all the war horses: Bucephalius, Alexander the Great's polydactyl horse, Genitar, Julius Caesar's horse, all the ones, right? So our combat mechanics off the horse are different with bows and arrows, spears and whatnot. So first-person melee games like Condemned. I don't know if you played Condemned. It's a skill-based block and parry system. So it's what the first-person shooters provide in a melee setting where it's skill-based. So you have to time it correctly. So we're bringing a melee system, and we're going to shoot. Tomahawks are coming, spears are coming. So in our ranges, it's not just about guns. So just stay tuned. I'm a big fan of first-person melee.
Ben's going to redesign his the tomahawks on his T-shirt there.
Yeah, give him Sitting Bulls.
Well, that was all about construction. That's how we came up with that. But yeah, no, that's incredibly cool. It's great that your project is so open-ended. Like you've got the history element. You know, you're talking about animals, so I assume that's to deal with the stem taken and all of that as well. There's vehicles. There's the possibilities are literally endless as far as what you want to do and how you want to go about it. So come on, Upland, pull your finger out, get these guys up and running. Because
And Ben, something for the ad, and I think that you like this based off your occupation. We incorporated AI as well, so you could actually ask these legendary commanders like questions from back in their day, and they'll respond as if they're actually talking to you.
Yeah, that's.
We have to give the link. We have to give the link for them to push that out if you can, Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I want to do is I want to just share it with everybody real quick on the screen, and this is just a sandbox, but I think it will be a really good little send off here, so you guys could kind of check it out. Earlier when Dan was talking, I had this up, and Satoshi had just mentioned it, so we can't help ourselves. We got to share it with you.
Yeah,
but I don't know if you guys have seen this, but this is done with AI. This is some of Dan's early work using multiple systems to create, George Washington communicating and talking, right? So Dan's working on that, wiring that together, and we have longer conversations, AI voice, everything. It's really, really, really fun. But what we did was we built an entire platform that you're going to be able to go into, and because we're here with Morecheese, I'm going to use Joan of Arc. So click in, and we can actually have a conversation with Joan of Arc here. What would you
ask her a question?
Yeah, Morecheese, if you were sitting around a fire with her right now, and you could any question, anything you can think of or dream of, a life, anything that you're looking to get.
Can it be stupid?
It could be anything you want.
All right, ask her. Ask her if she thinks Nick Valentine is hot. This goes on what Ben was saying before about my fetish.
Nick Valentine?
Nick Valentine is hot. He's Nick. Well, you had it right with an N. Yeah. He's one of the he's from Fallout 4.
Oh, I've got a question. What was your relationship with Gilles de Rais? Gilles is GILLES. You can type that in. Gilles DE and space RAIS.
Oh, did I do it wrong? Hold on.
It's just D as DE.
Yep.
And then space RAIS. So what was your relationship to Gilles de Rais? IS, not
IS, yeah.
Now, Cheese will hammer me for this. This comes back to a Cradle of Filth concept album. This one, Cheese.
What is it? JULE? Jewel? Is it?
No, GILLES, and Rais is RAIS. Be interesting to see if it picks this up.
Oh, she's thinking.
The anticipation.
She was aware of it.
I did not have any. Oh, interesting. Yes. Oh, that's cool that picked that up. All right. I love it.
Cradle of
smart.
Filth. Cradle of Filth.
What? Hey, do an add-on. Feel free to do an add-on. We're here. What? Just a couple more.
I don't know. How did you feel when you were on the stake? I don't know.
I think I asked it that one time. Yeah, that's a valid question.
Yeah. That's brutal.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's. I can no longer.
That's because we're working. They're working right now on the pay gate.
Okay, nice. So you get a few prompts for free.
You're going to get more than a few prompts, but they're working on it now, and then you're going to be able to tweet specific things that you like from her that she answered, and help grow virally, right, with us. But these are the kind of things that we're doing to build a better experience, right, for our holders. So you could do that same thing with Alexander the Great, Leonidas, George Washington, Napoleon. These are 5 legendary commanders that have been transacted on the blockchain, that are on open, that you can see on OpenSea. And cool. You could go to our Twitter and actually see the minting of them, because we recorded it and live on the blockchain, which was really cool, with the actual legendary commanders, and the live minting of it, which was really awesome. But the other thing that's cool is when you click into here, you'll be able to go right to our Zelly, and that will begin some of our gamification and our quests to help people learn more about it and do some of the other things. And this is all getting built and built out and finished out now. But we're really, really, really super excited about delivering this to the community and to the world at whole, because kids can use this for school, or I mean, it's just amazing. And I've had some of the most meaningful conversations, I tell people, since and I could start testing this when I got it about a month ago. From Devin, it was like, okay, we can do it. The parameters are set, and we've trained it, and we got it to where we needed to get it. And I started to really try to communicate with it. It's been amazing. The conversations, the life lessons, personal coaching, mentoring. It goes so beyond even the historic lesson of it, which is so cool.
Yeah, that whole AI angle, what Satoshi was kind of referring to there is, I'm a kindergarten teacher in real life, and yeah, that kind of angle is something I would definitely use. And Cheese knows this as well. I recently just built some AI models to help me with my report writing, and I did the final test on those yesterday, and the power of what that can do is just insane, absolutely insane. To be able to see that used in collaboration with an interface, that's really cool.
And then the next step, and then we'll wrap it up, is this. You'll be communicating with the actual legendary commander. You won't even have to type anything.
And you're talking about, the whole buzzword now is twinning. Well, they're talking about, like, some of these large language models can look at your own personal history and can, this may be the future where, say you pass away, well, your great grandkids can have a chat with you when you're long gone.
Right.
Black Mirror stuff.
Yeah, Black Mirror stuff indeed.
I love Black Mirror.
I do too.
I heard there's a new season, right?
Yeah, there's a new
it's
season.
Just released.
I have a fun fact about Annie Oakley and Sitting Bull. He sent her a really huge sum of money trying to get her autograph, and what ended up happening is she went out to him, and he ended up adopting her and bringing her into his tribe.
Wow.
Cool.
I did
Yeah.
not know that.
That's
Yes.
awesome.
All right. Well, it's very clear that you
That's
guys
really
are
cool.
a tight-knit team and you're super passionate about everything that you've got going on. If people do want to get further involved, what's the best way that they can go about that now?
The link tree is always a great place to start. It's got everything from our meta paper, which is really chock full of, you want to talk about loaded with, you know, jam-packed with all kinds of alpha and all the questions you might have. And we're always encouraging people to go to Discord. And if you go to Discord and you go in, I believe you can still test in Discord. You can actually test the legendary commander chat. If you're in Discord and you go through the link that's in Discord, you can actually, before this actually goes live public. So there's a test version there. So you guys are more than welcome to go there and test it, and anybody else as well right now. And there's all kinds of other great stuff in the Discord for everybody. Just because it's really a great community. You guys talked about positivity. There's just really no negativity, even in our general chat, but you can access all of our partners, Syndicus, Survival Dispatch. You can see our partners and different discounts that are available to our holders and the immediate utility that you get. And there's a bunch of great stuff in the Discord happening, including that dev diary, all of Dan's dev diary, which are basically like little short 10-minute documentaries that you can learn about Dan, his passion, why he's here, why he's doing this. So I think Discord's a really great place to start. And of course, all of the links are in there in the official link section.
Cool. All right, we'll have the pathway to that in the description. How are you going for time, Cheese? You right?
Me, I'm good. Yeah.
All right, we're probably going to kick on for another half hour or so. You guys are welcome to stick around while we look into some articles, or you can bounce out. I know you're super busy, so that's up to you guys.
Got it. Thank you for having us. I appreciate it. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend, everybody. And now I'm going to go back to that other call that I told, hey, listen, I got a more important call.
I love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, thanks for having us, guys.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
I
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank
No
you.
worries. Thank you. All right. As I said, you're welcome to hang around.
I'm gonna hang out.
Our usual brand of nonsense. So I've got a few things up here. Cheese. Now this first one is a bit concerning.
Uh-oh.
As far as what's happening with, we got crypto winter and all the rest of it kicking off. Well, how's this for a headline? And this has only just happened. When I picked up this article, it had only just happened. So 4 hours ago, breaking news, Binance Belgium ordered to stop services immediately. Blah, blah, blah. So this is all tied into the, it says it here, amid top crypto exchange Binance lawsuit against the US Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, Belgium's financial regulator on Friday ordered the exchange to cease certain operations. So we know these things have a tendency to snowball. Any concerns here that this is the start of something bad?
I would have to look into what Belgium's kind of like restrictions are and to why they're doing this. And the FSMA has decided to order Binance to cease with immediate effort offering or providing any exchange services in Belgium between virtual currencies and legal currencies, as well as custody wallet services. Do they explain why? Oh, here it goes. Wait, go up a bit. Up. There. According to a statement, the violation occurs from services provided in Belgium from countries that are not members of the European Economic Area. There you go.
The violation. So yeah, there's something going on there. Huh. I don't know. Is that on your radar at all, Satoshi? You keeping up to track with what's going on there?
This is all news to me.
Yeah.
As you guys see, like, there's a lot going on with the SEC currently, so I've been following that mostly.
Yeah. I hope it's not one of these things where this is, this is a chink in the damn wall, and others are going to follow suit.
Well, the one thing that we could look at as well is the ETF for futures got approved, I believe, and I think they're going to get approval on spot. So I'm not too worried about Binance.
All right. We'll keep our eye on that one and stay up to date with what's going on. Okay, the next one, we did have another Upland article, which was kind of cool. We like when these pop up from time to time. Now, this is old. Well, it's not old news. It's recent news to us, but it's cool to see this go out and about in the wider community. Upland and Nowhere unite to forge a new era of digital community interactions for the metaverse. So this is all about the cafes. So they're talking here, super app. We've talked about cafes extensively. This article, this is on coinjournal.net. So it's cool that this is getting it out and about. It's, it talks about how Upland, you can play games, show off your 3D avatars. It mentions Upland as a super app.
Yeah, this is a nice article. I really like this. It's really playing up the community and whatnot. Leveraging Nowhere's cutting edge 3D technology, players will soon be able to build, customize, and operate their own MetaVentures on a global scale. By combining the most active and engaging virtual real estate game of Upland with Nowhere's visually stunning and easy to use virtual world platform, Upland plus Nowhere are poised to become the most active Web3 metaverse on the planet. Wow.
Yeah, so that's cool. Yeah, to see them, to big up that partnership. That's really cool. And then, it goes on to outline what Upland is and what about Nowhere is. And that's from, Contact Lindsay, isn't that
yes.
Lindsay, who's head of marketing now? So
yes, she is. Thank you, Lindsay.
That's cool. We want to see more articles like this out and about. And we're just going to race through these. Like I said, we'll blitz through them pretty quick. And of course, they're all going to freaking reload. Now, this is fun.
Oh,
now, this
wow.
May tie into stuff that the X have got going on as well.
What?
These Swiss engineers have built a VR suit that could help you feel things in the metaverse. We've touched on this show. We've talked about haptic glove. We've talked about that kind of headset that blows on your
mouth.
Also,
yeah, for kissing. That was
a bit
weird.
X-rated, but yeah, there's vests. There's all sorts of things. And you've mentioned a few times, yeah, well, what about the full suit? Well, maybe this is the start of it. So
yeah.
Take it away.
All right. The full bodysuit can be moved by electric signals sent to it, or it can relay them to record exactly how it is being moved by the wearer. So I guess it customizes itself. It may soon be possible to feel the metaverse. I like that. 8 mechanical engineering students at ETH Zurich, the Swiss Federal Institute of Technology, are developing a tactile suit that covers the entire body to super boost immersive experiences in the metaverse. The suit features many sensor and soft human-like muscles, allowing a lot more natural interaction with virtual reality. That is so freaking cool. Let's see how much this costs.
Well, that's Ready Player One, isn't it? That's exactly what it is, pretty much. Costs.
Scroll.
Have a guess. What do you think? What do you think before we get there?
500.
I think it's probably still in testing, and they won't say.
Let's see.
How does it work? The muscles contract and expand with a tiny electric current. What could possibly go wrong?
You poof, you're all on fire.
So you have Beat Saber yourself in the crutch on a lonely Friday night. So you have pouches that are filled with a special fluid, and you spray electrodes on them, and you apply voltage on these electrodes so that these muscles zip together, and this leads to a contraction of the muscles. That's cool. The metasuit can also track and map the movements of humans without using any camera systems.
Wow.
Huh.
Proprioception.
That's crazy.
Proprioception. Wow. Yeah, I got to look into that word. Proprioception.
In a test, the team has created a virtual reality where the player can let a bird land on their hand and feel it using the muscles contracting on the suit.
And then squeeze the life out of it.
And eat it. Yes, it is amazing. Like the first few tries where we actually tried our technology, we all had to laugh because it was such an amazing feeling. Something I've never felt before. You're in an entirely other environment. You could be on Mars, and you feel something and it feels real, said old mate. Yeah, it doesn't make a price. Doesn't say a price.
Wow.
What do you think about that, boys?
I mean, like that's where I kind of viewed it all ahead at one point. I didn't know it would come this quick though.
Yeah, that's crazy. It does seem like it's in the early test stage, but
Oh, and proprioception refers to the sense of limb position and movement, where the latter is specifically referred to as kinesthesia. Proprioception feedback is critical for proper balance and motor control, innervated by fast conducting fibers. Muscles have receptors involved in blah blah blah.
Yeah, well, it's science fiction becoming reality, isn't it? So
Yeah, now just picture an exoskeleton layered over that, programmed to Derek Jeter, and you're playing shortstop now.
Ooh.
Yeah. And like you talk about like the immersive experiences the X has got going on, things like this, crazy. I wonder, Matt, that's a question we didn't ask too. Like with the combat sort of stuff, is there going to be like damage mechanics as part of the NFTs?
Yes, yeah, that's planned. I mean, it's not going to be initial, but absolutely, like the wear and tear that we all talk about.
Yeah.
And there'll be a healing mechanism. There are a lot of ideas about how we're going to get that done. But yeah, pretty much everything that you guys have talked about and the community's talked about, we're trying to incorporate as much as we can.
That's very cool. Yeah.
All right. Now this next one was a bit odd. This is one of those ones where are we going to have 10,000 different types of metaverses? So we've got CeeLo Green and producer Jack Splash partner with Seek Metaverse for upcoming Project The Pink. Cheese, I'm not up to date with all what the cool kids have got going on. You got me up to speed last week about somebody called, what was it, The Holiday or The Vacation or somebody? Who was that?
The Weekend.
The Weekend, yes. So, please. Oh, look. Wait, please translate this for me. I don't know what the hell this means. CeeLo Green.
So he's a music artist. He sang that song, I Think I'm Crazy. But I haven't heard from him in a while, since maybe the mid 2000, like 2006-ish. I don't know. I think he's had some stuff out, but yeah.
Seek Metaverse. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I think it's playing off his name CeeLo. But I think I don't know. I think he should have partnered with somebody.
Oh my God. Upcoming Project The Pink. That looks.
Yeah, that looks crazy.
My eyes looking at that. That's cringe.
That is cringe.
So CeeLo Green and Grammy-winning producer Jack Splash, also known as The Pink, have partnered with Seek Metaverse for the upcoming collaborative project The Pink, out later this year. The record's first single series arrived on Friday, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, I don't know who Jack Splash is.
Filmed in Miami, users joining via the app will have an immersive experience with other fans and an opportunity to engage with CeeLo and Jack Splash in real time in the segment. Well, that's cool. The experience can be accessed on mobile, table, and browser with or without a VR headset. That's cool. All right. Blah, 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 blah. So I did click. Oh, sorry. What'd you find?
Splash is a songwriter, and he's written like a lot of songs for really popular artists like Alicia Keys, Kendrick Lamar, John Legend, CeeLo, Missy Elliott, on and on.
So those are some big names then. So I did click this thing here. What is the Seek Metaverse? I haven't looked at this. I just pulled up the link. Let's see. What is this about? Seek Metaverse. All right. Looks like an artist's profile thing. Lady Gaga, Diamond, somebody. Doesn't look very metaversey. This is the landing page. It looks like a
go to land, see what land is underneath the official.
For artists.
Oh my God, I'm cringing.
Yeah, this is really. Let's see.
This looks like MySpace for artists or something. MetaMask, don't do that. So this looks kind of sandboxy.
You know what this looks like? This looks very much like that Minecraft thing, Uplift World.
World, yeah, sandboxy. I'm gonna get out of here because it's gonna crash my shitty old laptop. But yeah, I mean,
yeah.
Let's see here. Let's click on the menu. Seek land, seek tokens, seek VR headset, sports, blog.
Nah.
I mean, this, I wouldn't touch this with a 10-foot pole.
Yeah, I wish them well. I hope they do well, but it's not for me.
Yeah. All right, moving on.
Moving on.
Explore, click the link in the description at your own risk. Take this one away, Cheese.
Arena Pixel, unique combination of GameFi, NFT, and fascinating new mechanics. What's this about?
My neck of the world. Avondale, Auckland. Arena Pixel, a unique GameFi project combined with NFT on the blockchain, promises players a memorable experience and the opportunity to profit from the game. With the bright 8-bit graphic style, the game not only shocks players with new gameplay mechanics, but also opens the door to making money through NFT ownership and trading.
I like that.
With Arena, yeah, well, that's what it's all about. With Arena Pixel, players own unique in-game items such as tokens, heroes, weapons, yada, yada, yada. These items are beautiful visuals and have real value in blah, 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 blah. Yes.
You know, I could see Uplandia becoming this.
This looks kind of cool. I
like
up on these kind of games.
8-bit is my freaking thing. Like
That reminds me of like a Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat or like a Zelda type thing.
I mean, if this doesn't try to be too fancy within itself with the background mechanics and that, if it's just these kind of simplified NFT game experience, this is something I'd be interested in. This would be a bit of fun. Huh. In addition, Arena Pixel also offers special features such as staking and farming, allows players to earn additional profits through holding and using the project's tokens.
Look at that dinosaur's face.
Nice. I wonder how advanced this is. Social media. The beta test launch date is June 30th. So coming up, the project is expected to launchpad this July. All right. Well, I'm definitely going to click the link in the description myself and follow up on this one and just dive into that a bit more and keep my finger in the pie, so to speak. All right, 3 more to go. This next one, now this is something that you and I have been talking about ad nauseum since we started this show pretty much, is I see you had a sneaky peek and looked at the description, is about how NFTs are going to completely revolutionize ticketing.
Yeah.
Now, I've talked about how much of a pain in the ass the ticketing system is in Japan. Like you buy a ticket from somewhere, but that's not the ticket. That's the ticket for you to line up to get your actual ticket.
Wow.
And we've all been there with, maybe it's a concert or something you want to go to and you're trying to get your credit card details in and it's all been gobbled up and this, that, and the other thing. I've also talked about on this show how when I used to go to concerts, I used to collect the ticket stubs and keep those in my CDs and sold those on eBay and all that sort of stuff. So this is definitely coming. Now, we have seen this with what are some of the projects that have done this? Wasn't the Super Bowl did like a thing where the tickets were NFT-ified?
Oh.
We covered that. There was, I think it might have been some basketball experiences. There's a whole bunch of stuff like that. So, I think this is definitely the way of the future. So this says Web3 NFT tickets will change the way we experience music festivals forever. Bum, bum, bum.
Forever. Yes. Well, yeah, it's just a nice while intersection between music and technology is not a new concept, our utilization of tech to enhance our music experience continues to evolve. Music festivals are a prime example of this evolution, having started as road trips to open fields where experiencing live shows often meant being surrounded by dirt and thousands of other people pushing to get a glimpse of the artist. I did that. Yep. But now we have mega screens, VIP boxes, online streaming, AR and VR technology, and more. How much more? No, I'm just kidding. All aimed at enhancing user enjoyment. By way of Web3 advancements, we can experience our favorite festivals before we even touch the concert grounds. All thanks to NFT tickets. Now, there were similar things in Vegas, actually, where we bought the tickets online, but we had to go to the box office to pick them up. Like the ticket was just to get in line to get a ticket. And that gauged how many people showed up via how many people purchased it and then couldn't make it, which is extremely smart.
Yep. Yeah, it's these kind of articles that we need to get out to the normies and into the mainstream so people can start to see, the benefits of something like this. So maybe I would assume it's going to get into it here. Coachella was one of the first major festivals to utilize these types of tickets for memorabilia and lifetime festival access.
POAPs.
And I was going to say, you've talked about the POAP angle for ages. So that was their partnership with FTX, which fell by the wayside. Yes.
Oh my God, that didn't age.
Yes. It goes on. One significant advantage is that the issuer of the ticket can control the initial and resale value price, limiting resellers who want to take advantage of buyers. Yeah, so for scalping and that sort of stuff. Interesting. Additionally, the user can track the seller history during resale. Yep, because it's on the blockchain. Yep.
Yeah, but people could have more than one wallet, and like that's how they're going to do it. They're going to create 500 wallets and buy 500 ticket NFTs. Yeah. There's always a way. There's always a way
to game the system. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So I don't know. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Even just from like the collector's perspective, I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
And being able to match it, like you went to Genesis Week and you got a shirt because you were at Genesis Week. You know, there'll be things like this in the future where if you've been to such and such a concert and you've got the NFT to prove it, well, we've talked about how you can. The guys talked about that at the start of the show, where you can then, you essentially burn that NFT to get you may get a exclusive T-shirt or something like that, some in real life thing as well. Or it could be meet and greets with artists. There's a whole bunch of stuff that's going to happen with that.
Well, I'm still waiting for my early bird POAP NFT.
We should dive into that. We haven't dived into that because that's some dodgy bullshit right there.
Things I get it. Things happen. I think I'm not going to be angry unless like they get back to me and say there's nothing we can do for you, but they are looking into it. So like I can forgive mistakes. There were a lot of mistakes. The one thing that I'm really mad about that they haven't really got back to me on was they had me as not being there, even though the
that's us.
The lady scanned my ticket. I was an exhibitor. I was early bird, yet I wasn't shown as being there. Therefore, my name wasn't in that thing that they were rolling for the totem, which is totally not fair.
And you're not the only one.
Actually, I'm one too. I'm one of those as well. Sean actually purchased my ticket and I didn't get anything yet. So, we just ironed that out. But, I was thinking the same thing when they're rolling the, for the prize winners, the same thing is going through my head.
Yeah, we weren't in that.
That's messed up.
Yeah, because totems are big.
You're being very tactful in the way you said that, but the I don't know whether it was auto-generated or whatever, but the message that you were sent was, computer says, no, you suck, you weren't there, stop trying to get stuff that you didn't qualify for, and you're like, what the actual fuck?
Like I had to send a picture of me with my husband
in the booth
and putting my thumbs up. I'm like, look, there I am. Like, what else do I need to show? And then I noticed my husband, who we were at the registration table at the same time. We both had the early bird. He got his drum set, BE, and he's like, oh, look, I got a new BE. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I don't remember that. So I'm looking through mine and I'm like, oh, I don't have it. So I sent them an email and I showed them my ticket where both of our tickets were. It says early bird. And I'm like, let me know if I need to put anything else or you need anything from me. And they're getting back to me on.
Yeah. Sometime. Yeah. There's been some kind of catastrophic epic failure along the way for all of the early birds. They're your most engaged people in the community. The people that bought those tickets as soon as that, I think you buy it within like a minute. Yeah.
Because I had to ask Sully, of course. I'm like, Sully, can we go, please? My birthday gift. And he's like, yeah, okay.
and your reward for that is to be utterly burnt, and to not have any of those, potentially not have any of those names in that barrel for all of those massive prizes. That's bad. That's really bad.
I think they should do a re-roll. They should roll 2 more names from the people who weren't included, and that for me would make me happy. Then like at least somebody who was kind of screwed over would get something from it.
You're too cheesy. I'll be whining. I say everybody who was affected by that, if your name wasn't put in that barrel, everybody should get a totem. Doesn't have to be a fancy rare one. You should be able to be given a totem.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would go a long way.
I think they can mitigate, you know, any issues like that if they went through the Upland platform to do it as opposed to Eventbrite, right?
Yeah.
I think that was the main issue. I think if they just went through Upland to do it, I think everybody would be accounted for.
Yeah, there's definitely been some kind of failure there within the bookkeeping on the back end. So yeah, that really sucks. So hopefully they look after you and get it squared away.
I don't think so, but I guess I'm not gonna die on this hill.
No, it's just, again, it is one of those things where it is emerging technology, yada yada yada. Mistakes will happen. Interns are going to intern.
This was a big mistake though, because this
is monumental.
Yeah, this was a really huge thing, and I would have really liked to have been considered. You know,
yes.
What can you do?
All right, 2 more to touch on. Just a couple of quick ones. It's gonna be silly. Don't do that. So we do know that I did see that Bitcoin has bounced back a little bit. I haven't fully checked that out myself yet, so who knows? But it has here, Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT prices are plunging. Why?
I mean, because it's pump and dump. I like, what have they done for like Bored Ape Yacht Club? Like, what is the utility of it?
Well, don't forget they have all these they do in real life events. They're paying their, what did we touch on last week? They're paying their council members $25,000 US a month or something. So and they are considered one of the blue chip NFT projects. So if they're going to fall, well, that doesn't speak well for the wider, ecosystem.
I think NFTs are really evolving in regards to like something that's 10,000 NFTs just with a different style on it isn't worth anything anymore. It's got to have actual utility. Like, all right, you own this, you can go to a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. All right, that's cool. You could go to an event. Like, you have to be in like the top 5% to kind of even afford stuff like this. So
but what do they say about blood in the streets? Maybe this is, if you've been sweating on getting one, maybe now's the time.
Well, I'd rather invest my money in something like the X, or something that's going to give me personally what I personally want, like fun and gameplay, and maybe a business inside the metaverse selling stuff that I may get within.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of this, when the floor price was at 429,000, that, and wasn't it Justin Bieber and all of them were piling in, and it was all a flex. It's just a flex.
Yeah, they were probably given them and probably paid to promote them.
Yeah, I don't know. Remember that whole thing where Seth Green, he had his fished out from under him, and then he was trying to buy it back, and he bought it back, and so I don't know.
And yeah, and where's his show?
Yeah.
He could have made that up.
It's very easy to have ideas. It takes a lot of effort to put them into fruition. So
yeah.
All right, one last one. We did see that Sao Paulo was released, and there's the partnership with the Brazilian Stock Car Championship. Maybe this is not ties into it, but part of me reflects something that might go along with a similar situation. So here we've got Racer Club drives excitement in NFT gaming with upcoming game server launch.
Oh.
Was this yet another platform? And look at that, Melbourne, Australia. Racer Labs, a leading NFT game project, is gearing up to launch its highly anticipated Racer Club game server, generating immense buzz within the NFT community. Is it? Have you heard of it?
No.
Immense buzz? I think ChatGPT might have wrote that headline. Following the successful Binance IGO, there you go, for the VIP fan pass, lucky early adopters are eagerly awaiting the opportunity to claim their free shard valued at 0.3 ETH when the game servers go live. What do we got in here? Blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. Blah, blah,
So what do you
blah,
actually
blah.
do? We are thrilled to be on the cusp of introducing the Racer Club game server. So that's interesting that it's not one particular game, it's a server of games. And unveiling the concept of shards to the world. The fusion of game tech and NFT art will redefine the gaming experience and position us as a leader in the NFT gaming space. Fluff, 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 fluff. Our vision is to, fluff buzzwords. What do you actually do? Empower users, dynamic gaming ecosystems. Does it actually say what you do?
You know what you can do? You could probably take the article and then throw it back in the GDP and ask, what do they do? It might spit you out a correct answer, you know?
Yeah. Because this is all fluff. Now, Racer Club Labs is
yeah.
a pioneer NFT game project focused. Yeah, more fluff. The introduction of shards, a unique combination of game tech and NFT arts, sets Racer Club apart as a leader in the NFT gaming space with a vision. Again, it doesn't even say. I was hoping that was going to dive into what the actual game part was going to be, but
So you get winners, you get losers.
Put your shards up your odds. Yes.
Your R's.
All right.
Oh my God.
Well, that's all I've got for this week, Cheese. Thank you once again for organizing all of that stuff on the back end.
Got it.
Doing what you do, and thanks for Satoshi and Esero and Dan and Sean for jumping in. That was a fun discussion.
Awesome show. Thanks for having us again.
Thank you.
No worries, mate.
Greatly appreciate it.
We'll definitely get you back on at some stage when things kick off. And it's always an open invitation, whether it be, this for the long form stuff or short snippets on the UDU podcast, always open and available.
Yes, and Satoshi's voice is like he's almost like a background guy for you guys. It's not bad. Think of that trifecta. Yes.
All right. On that note, Jace, I think that wraps us up.
Stay fresh, cheese bags.
Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Talk wine and cheese, motherfucker. Go ahead, get your pinky up. Go ahead, get your pinky up.
People that fire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off your drive. Hit you with their hairbrush, hit you with the knife. People that fire, samurai, riding on the dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife. Flying through the sky, people that fire, samurai, riding on a dingo, flying through the sky. Cheese in the house, get off the drive. Hit you with the hairbrush, hit you with the knife. People that fire, samurai, riding on a dingo, flying through the sky. Hit you with the knife, flying through the sky. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese. Wine and cheese. Time for wine and cheese.
Are you looking for some of that quality outdoor decor? But you got no freaking idea where to go? Oh, come on over to Samurai Aquatics and Decor for all your outdoor decor needs. Got yourself an empty plot of boring virtual real estate in the metaverse, do ya? Yeah, just delete that. I'm still not ready, sorry. Got yourself an empty plot of boring virtual real estate in the metaverse, do ya? Or maybe some kind of crappy ramshackle building that, I don't know, needs a bit of extra spunk to it or something. And stop mucking about and get yourself over to Samurai Aquatics Discord to see all our available stock. We've got loads of different decor to spend your pretend money on. We got saunas to fire you up, and ice baths to chew you the fudge out. Literally stock coming out of our ears. Grills, swings, seating, and more. So much more. And if we don't got it, give us a buzz, and we could probably make it. Get yourself on over to Samurai Aquatics at 30 Aqua Vista Way in Midtown Terrace, San Francisco, lickety split, and gorge yourself on outdoor decor.